It is that time. Time for Stiles and Watkins.
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140. Find us on YouTube at Sactown Sports 1140.
It's time for Alan Stiles and Chris Watkins.
Yes. On a Friday, Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. What a roller coaster of a week. From losing to the Hornets to coming back and taking down the Magic in a double overtime game. And now everything is breaking, folks. From Jake Fisher to Woj to Shams. Moves will be made and players are being made available. Not just the normals, not just Pascal Siakam, not just the names. And by the way, Sean Woodley at 11 a.m. from Locked On Raptors to talk Kings Raptors. That's at 11 a.m. Not going to want to miss that. But not only are we hearing the normal names, we're also hearing the Kings names. Harrison Barnes and Kevin Huerter have been made available. The Kings are making calls. The Kings are taking calls. Chris Watkins, How are you doing?
Great. Yeah, it definitely feels like trade season is officially kicking off now. I mean, with the OG move, it always takes somebody to kind of break the seal. And then once the seal is broken, feels like the floodgates open. And it feels like with all of these swelling of rumors happening out of nowhere, feels like, we're going to get some real action, I think, this deadline. You know, last year was a lot talked about. People thought the OG move was going to happen a year ago. The Pascal deal was going to happen a year ago. Not much really happened, especially here on the Kings front. Like they brought in Kessler Edwards. This year, it actually feels like something's going to happen with so many teams kind of juggling and jostling for position. It feels like moves are going to be made. And really at this point, it's just, do the Kings have the assets? And that's really the thing that we've been talking about. But at the end of the day, this thing is going to come down to, can the Kings present the best offer? Because I do think there's going to be a lot of teams who are out there making competing offers.
Yeah, and Jake Fisher was on with the Drive guys yesterday, so we have that sound we will get into throughout the show, just basically talking about the different packages that the Kings could come up with and who they could maybe do some wheeling and dealing with. So we have all of that for you. Sam Amick from The Athletic as well was on the morning show and spoke with them about possible trades and things like that. But this thing is moving quickly. Before we get too deep into the trade talks, let's talk about the games that actually happened and the players that are actually on the court.
Oh, yeah.
On the teams that they are currently playing for. Wemby versus Giannis.
Oh, yeah.
Game of the year. That's what Bleacher Report said. Game of the year.
They really?
They did.
Okay.
They did. And I said, come on, man. Of course I had to ride for the Beam team. I said, come on, man.
Yeah.
I said double overtime. We know what Sabonis did. We know what Paolo Banchero did. He's reigning rookie of the year. Right. My point wasn't that game 2 nights ago was the game of the year. My point is that the hyperbole has got to stop, please.
Yeah, because
we don't have to do this.
No, your point is just there was a better, not even saying that was the best game, but what are we talking about? There was literally a better game the night before, let alone the best one of the.
As they're tweeting it, you could make the argument that Nuggets Warriors was a better ending
too, as well. Yeah, I mean, you had a great night of basketball, an exciting night. You had all the stars out. You get Wemby and Giannis. You get a great picture that I feel like is going to be shown for a long time of Wemby getting that block on Giannis in the final minutes.
Insane.
Though didn't really matter, but I thought it was just a really cool moment. And then you get the Warriors game where, man, we're definitely going to talk some dubs today, y'all. And it's not going well for them. They blew an 18-point lead with about 8 minutes to go, and then to have the reigning MVP, or I'm sorry, not reigning, the two-time MVP, last year's Finals MVP, walk into the Warriors building and pretty much hit a half-court shot right in front of the Warriors bench after Steve Kerr had just told him, stop complaining, you're essentially better than that. Woo! Chef's kiss. It really doesn't get much better than that.
You slept like a baby, not going through a sleep regression, which means that you slept very, very well. So we will get into the Warriors for sure. Also going to get into the Pro Bowl and Pro Bowl snubs. We have some breakdowns. A lot of people feel like Brandon Ayuk was snubbed. So we have the comparisons of the receivers that got in before him, and we have those stats. So we will break that down. and let you make the decision. He's still an alternate. I know that doesn't matter because this isn't a high school play.
Right. Well, and hopefully none of the Niners are playing.
You don't want to even be there.
Yeah.
It's just the principle.
Right.
I get it. I understand that. So we'll break all that down as well. And, as far as the moves that are coming out, right? And Shams is talking.
Yeah.
And Woj is talking, and all these guys are coming out. Who do you want? We can even do. I know Christmas is over, but a dream list,
a wish list.
Realistic wish list for the Kings.
Yeah.
So we'll get into all of that as well. And look, we said we're going to talk Warriors. We have a segment here, as a lot of people have a lot to say about Coach Mike Brown, and we brought it up maybe last week or a couple weeks ago about Steve Kerr. I saw something last night that really broke down Steve Kerr's tenure with the Warriors. And I know you initially were on the side of, hey, it's more than just X's and O's.
Oh, yeah.
They're in these streets calling Steve Kerr a fraud. They're in these streets calling Steve Kerr a fraud. So we will break all of that down as well. You're watching the game last night, Warriors Nuggets. And also we'll get into the Nuggets because are we underestimating the Nuggets a little bit? Because that is championship pedigree right there to just weather the storm, right? It's a bad Warriors loss, but it's also a really good
resilient,
Nuggets win because they just stick to their game plan.
Yeah.
They stick to their game plan.
There was every reason to give up in that game, realistically, if you're the Nuggets.
I believe they already beat the Warriors twice or even maybe 3 times.
Yeah.
So it was, hey, we already got a couple off you guys. Right. You can have this one. And they just said no.
Yeah, they were like, no, this we just don't feel like this one's – because, it felt like – it was even going into the third, the Warriors had a huge lead. And the Nuggets just kind
Steph is dancing.
Everything. And then, like I said, Steve Kerr's yelling at Jokic. Like, the Warriors are kind of starting to feel themselves a bit. They're kind of in that transition of they've played well without Draymond, but, they're still trying to kind of find their mojo. And it just all kind of evaporated right in front of their face. And it was like, that's a really bad loss to have. And the thing was, to have it on your home floor is just, again, it's the cherry on top that really makes that just a terrible, that's a demoralizing loss. When you're up by that much at home, and again, you're kind of going through this struggle of trying to find your identity, and then you just blow a game like that, a game that you probably had already mentally said, this is a really good win for this unit with all of this talk going on around, and you see the talk that's now led from Steve Kerr not playing Kuminga in the last minutes, just what a sliding glass doors moment. If they just close out that game, how much are we even talking about Jonathan Kuminga being –
it's a launch pad. It would be a launch pad.
Yeah.
Hey, we can get rolling now.
It's great. Yeah, exactly. They would have used that as, hey, we just beat the defending champions in our house. This is still a sign that we're still the Warriors. And, if we give our best punch, there's not a lot of teams in this league that can take it. And all that is gone. All that's thrown out the window. Yeah, you now have Kuminga we have a Shams tweet here saying literally Jonathan Kuminga has lost faith that Steve Kerr has his best development in mind.
And that just dropped about 10 minutes ago.
33 minutes ago. Pretty much right before the show. It's just what a colossal spiral for the Warriors right now. And allegedly Draymond Green's coming back in the facility. I saw Steve Kerr say yesterday, this is news to me. So it just doesn't feel like anything is really going well in Warrior land right now.
And another thing we will discuss is not just what happened in the game last night and this morning with Jonathan Kuminga, but going in, friend of the show, Jason Dumas. Dumas reported that Moses Moody and his people have said that they're not happy with what's going on. So that was before the game.
Yeah.
And Moses Moody, I still don't think played.
No, he didn't.
Right.
No.
So we're over here worried about a Sasha Vezenkov, but at the same time, obviously, I don't even know. It's actually a pretty interesting question. Who had higher expectations going into the season? Because you can make the argument. Obviously, the Kings wanted to take that next step. Warriors still believe having Steph Curry, they're always going to be a championship contender. But if you look at it, you both have championship aspirations. That's all teams do. But you've tried to make moves. You go out, you get CP3 if you're the Warriors. And you can sit there and say, we're not laughing. Some people were in my mentions because I had some things to say. Last night, I kept it cordial, but they still get upset about it. But ultimately, hey, you bandwagon Warrior fans, Don't dust off those Chris Webber jerseys.
Oh, my God.
Don't dust off those Tejas Stojakovic jerseys.
Nah.
We good over here.
Yeah, we've kept receipts. Too.
We've kept receipts.
We've kept receipts.
Don't drive past Scandia thinking you're going to drive past Go Collect 200 because it's not happening. Okay, and same with you Laker fans that all of a sudden want to dust off your Vlade Divac jerseys as well. It's not going to happen. All right, got to get to a break. When we get back, continuing to break down what happened with the Warriors last night. We will break down what Shams had to say about Jonathan Kuminga, what Jason Dumas had to say about Moses Moody, and what that means for a potential trade with your Sacramento Kings. Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division title, GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars and All-NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, a breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam Team, Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave asking you, are you feeling the pain of paying more and more for your gas? PG&E has increased their rates 4 times in the last 5 years, and the new forecast says PG&E customers may see their bills increase 32% by 2026. The good thing is there are steps you can take to protect yourself from these rate hikes, and better yet, American Energy may be able to help you completely eliminate your gas bill with a new ultra-high efficiency comfort system. Did you know SMUD offers huge rebates to eliminate your old gas guzzler? They can help you guide through the whole process. Seriously, listen to me. You go to the SMUD website. There's tons of rebates available, but it is confusing on how to do it. Listen to these rebates. $2,500 from American Energy, $3,500 from SMUD, $1,000 from Caltech, $2,000 home system upgrades. That's $9,000 in rebates. Let American Energy help you out at 916-520-9990.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Sactown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. A reminder, the 49ers and Rams game this Sunday will be airing on KNCI HD2, starting with the pregame at 12:25 and kickoff at 1:25, obviously, because the Kings will be playing here on Sactown Sports.
Playing the Pelicans.
Yeah.
No thanks.
Yeah. This is the one. This is the one.
It better be.
This is the one. You got to get one, and this has to be the one as we break down what happened last night with the Warriors. So, yeah, I'm watching it. You're watching it. Warriors are up 18 with 7 minutes and 24 seconds left. And after that, it was just bizarre.
Yeah.
It was just a bizarre turn of events. You have everything that they normally do. Steph can't get an open shot. When he does, he can't make it, right? The other guys, whether it's, and that led to the Kuminga thing. So Andrew Wiggins cannot make a jump shot. Yep. He can't. He's going to get you a couple cleanups at the rim. He's going to drive when there is a smaller guy on him and back him in. But that's it. That's it. So you have that going on. And then you have the Nuggets who are just sticking to their game plan. Jokic, I mean, they were getting whatever they wanted inside the whole game, right? And then as well, you had Aaron Gordon kind of doing his thing, and that was really it. Here we go, 925. We got a 925 text. You guys sound like such salty haters, LOL. Coming from fans for a team making the playoffs and getting ran out in the first round is a loss, and questioning Kerr's legitimacy as a coach who's won and had success, but you're fixated on the Warriors. Let me tell you something, 925. Hold on now. No, I hope you're still listening because you just said it 4 minutes ago.
Yeah.
We're not the ones questioning Kerr's legacy. No. You had Chris Watkins actually defend Kerr.
I will.
You know who's questioning his legacy? Warrior fans.
Yep.
Warrior fans, 925. Yeah. All right. So I don't know where you're at right now, if you're in Concord or wherever it is, but it is not us. And the bottom line is this. You Warrior fans, whoever's listening, can sit on your high horse and pretend like you're living rent-free. You have Steph Curry, who is the most exciting player, in my opinion, in the league. And if he's not, he's top 3. You have the most polarizing team in the league, okay? It's not little old Sacramento talking Warriors. If you turn on the 4-letter station, they're talking Warriors. If you turn on the 3-letter station, they're talking Warriors. They're polarizing. Cool. Enjoy it. And I hope you did, because you're crumbling now, just like the cookies on the morning show.
Yeah. This is the downside of being the team of the decade.
Yeah.
Like this is part of it. You don't get the great swell of positive media coverage. You don't get, ESPN hiring 8 Warriors writers and reporters to talk about the Warriors all day. And then when they start to decline, nobody talks about it. No, that's not how it works. It's part of the story that is the Warriors is the fall. I mean, that's kind of what we do as humans. We build you up just to tear you down. Like this is part of the game. And sorry, Warriors fans, but y'all had your run. Now it's time for everybody to kind of get the jokes off. I'm sorry.
Who's salty? Okay. A show and in the same division,
look,
same
I've
conference.
been salty about the Warriors the past 8 years.
Right.
I am not salty about the Warriors right now.
Or somebody texting in saying that you're salty when in reality you're salty because you see the end is coming. How about this? Just enjoy the ride you had. Sacramento would love to have that ride. That's what Sacramento is trying to build to. But nobody is salty here. Everybody is roasting. You were in that Spaces last night on X, okay, the Golden Space or whatever it is. Over 2,000 people in there. Ooh. It was like a war zone. They want everybody gone. Yeah. Okay? So it's not us questioning Kerr. No. It's not us.
It's a lot of infighting.
We're looking through segments to do. We got it from Warrior fans saying that, oh, what year was it? The first couple of years, Kerr was legitimate. He brought in that motion offense. He had the new defense. They went small ball. The next couple of years, he got carried by Kevin Durant and that super team. That's not me saying it. That's Warrior fans saying it. Y'all want him out of here. I don't care. I don't care. It's a big story. Yeah.
It's huge.
A team that's won 4 championships within the last decade. Yeah, that's a big story.
Huge.
With one of the 2 biggest faces in the league. It ain't about rent-free. It ain't about anybody thinking about the Warriors. Does that mean, Warriors lives rent-free in the 4-letter stations? Mind?
No. Again, no, this is how it goes. Like if you're going to be a popular team, you're going to, like when things are going well, you're going to get way too much attention for things going well. And we're going to talk about all this stuff. But when things are going bad, you're going to get roasted. It's just how it goes. I'm sorry. Like, and I wouldn't even say we're roasting them. Like we're not at all. We're talking about we're keeping it pretty surface level.
This is what happened. Roasting isn't when you just say what happened.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't throw the ball away last night.
No.
I didn't lose an 18-point lead with 7 minutes left. I didn't do that. We're just saying what happened. And again, we're not questioning Kerr's his whole tenure as a coach. Chris Watkins on these here airways, and if you're texting in, that means you're a pretty P1 listener.
Right.
You must have heard Chris Watkins.
He's got the number memorized.
You had the number memorized. You probably heard Chris Watkins when he said, I actually think Steve Kerr was one of the only guys that could handle KD and that super team. And we can go back and forth on it, but it doesn't matter. So nobody is questioning Steve Kerr, okay? You know what I did see? Steve Kerr's the reason that Team USA tricked off a gold medal. That's what I saw.
People say that, yeah.
That's what I saw. Yeah. I didn't sit Jonathan Kuminga for the end of the game after he had 18 points in 18 minutes.
Yeah.
I didn't do that.
Nope.
Chris didn't do that.
Nope.
Nate Littlefield, our producer, who's doing a great job, he didn't do that. All I know is this, okay? They will always talk about the Lakers. Mm-hmm. Always, right? Yep. National media. Yep. They will always talk about the Lakers. They will always talk about the Celtics. Yep. I will say this, 925 to everybody else, all the double agents listening, enjoy it because y'all know where you came from.
Yeah.
And that's
obscurity.
New. And
complete obscurity.
And that's new money.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
Y'all know where you came from. Once Steph is gone, they're not going to have a reason to talk about the Warriors anymore.
No.
So you might as well enjoy the fact that you can turn on a Sacramento station and we even care enough to talk about the Warriors because they are a national story right now. Draymond Green, probably the most polarizing player in the sport.
Yep.
It's it.
Are we just supposed to ignore it? Like,
no,
the Warriors just blew an 18-point lead in the fourth quarter yesterday on national television and got hit with a game winner by the two-time MVP, the defending champs, the NBA Finals MVP of last year. Yeah, and the Kings didn't play yesterday. Sorry. We're going to talk about it. Like, we just are, and you better buckle up because it's not over.
No, I got more for you. Shams Charania. This is the tweet that we spoke about at about 20 minutes ago, maybe 30 minutes ago now. After sitting down in the final 18 minutes of the Nuggets loss, Warriors forward Jonathan Kuminga has lost faith in Steve Kerr and no longer believes that Kerr will allow him to reach his full potential, sources say. That's from Shams.
Alan, I don't think I've ever in my life seen a reporter post anything like that before.
Me neither.
Like, maybe sometimes that's in a story, but to have a just straight up tweet saying that, I've never seen that before.
No.
I've never seen somebody just say, I would like to openly, you could put my name on it, put both names on it. I am the source. Okay. Jonathan Kuminga is the source here saying, no, I don't trust.
Shams does say sources say. But that is, it's clearly from.
Okay. Well, who is
it? Well, and let's not forget. Last season, Jonathan Kuminga had that weird situation where I think there was an article on Yahoo and he said it was. He said he didn't say it was fake, but he said, I don't know where you guys get this stuff.
It's their agents.
Yes,
that's
exactly.
Where they get it from.
And it was basically Jonathan Kuminga. It was the whole Game 7. Yeah. Remember, Steph had to have that conversation, the Game 7 drama, because Jonathan Kuminga was one of the guys. There were a couple guys in there. That Steph was talking to. Yeah. He was talking to Kuminga, and he was talking to Jordan Poole. That's the two that I can confirm. They shipped one out, and Kuminga, they got him to play nice. But at the end of the day, you see Kuminga on Instagram, that boy wants a bag. Okay, he's out here. He's trying to get into his bag to get a bag. He's not trying to be out here hustling like a sophomore on varsity, diving after loose balls, and you got to get some rebounds. Yeah. He doesn't want to do that. Steve Kerr came out a couple games ago and said, one, about the rotations, and two, he essentially said they need to work their way in. We talk about Coach Mike Brown treating this as a high school competition and that you got to stay on your P's and Q's. That's not the same as you got to earn your keep. We're not doing that. Everybody is getting paid. Yeah. That's just not going to fly. The next one, before we get to a break, we'll react to it. Jason Dumas, our friend Jason Dumas on Moses Moody. This is via 95.7 The Game. He was on Willard and Dibbs last show yesterday. The people around Moses are frustrated with the lack of a role and consistency. For lack of a better term, it feels like he's a sacrificial lamb whenever there's a logjam. He's the guy that falls out. Got too many guys.
Yeah, I mean, and that's your two best young assets or role players.
In
both have said about their role.
In less than 2 days.
In less than 24 hours.
In less than 24 hours.
Things are crumbling. Like, again, like, you want us to just completely ignore it and no, like, this is a massive, massive story, and it's happening in real time right now.
But it's not even as if the Kings aren't involved. The Kings need somebody like Moses Moody. Yeah. The Kings need somebody like Jonathan Kuminga. Yeah. So it's not as if we have a bunch of wings and we don't care. It all comes back. It's not arbitrary speaking.
No.
If it was a Trae Young situation, no, we don't need an undersized point guard. We got one of those, okay? So we're not talking – it's a national story, and also it's the first time the Warriors are really going to have to be a part of this trade deadline situation, which is new, right?
Yeah. And to your point as well, it ties back into the Kings as well, because both of those guys are guys that the Kings would love to have.
Exactly.
Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody are both two young assets, two young wings that the Kings could really use, especially a Jonathan Kuminga. But Moses Moody, we've seen him go off against the Kings and have moments, and then Steve Kerr benches him. We've seen those flashes, and I think that the Kings could benefit from having a guy like Moses Moody who provides what he does.
Got to get to a break. When we get back, is Steve Kerr a fraud? Let's just lean right on into it. And who would you rather have, Jonathan Kuminga or Moses Moody? We'll discuss when we get back. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back, He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sactown Sports and the Sactown Sports app.
So here's a fact. 85% of the population will suffer from foot pain in their lifetime. That's almost everyone. So you'd think there'd be plenty of healthy long-term remedies, but there just aren't, right? Hi, I'm Dan from the Good Feet store. You know, people come in all the time sharing the same frustrating story. Bought this, tried that, been there, done whatever, all different kinds of things, but all with a similar result. Nothing. A discouraging and endless cycle of disappointment. If this rings a bell, don't despair. There is hope. If you think you've tried everything, you probably haven't tried Good Feet arch supports from the Good Feet store. They're designed to relieve, even eliminate, the pain commonly caused by certain foot conditions like plantar fasciitis, bunions, flat feet, and others. Plus, provide better balance and increased comfort. See what we can do for you with a free arch support fitting. Just stop in or schedule an appointment. With over 200 stores, there's likely one in your neck of the woods. Find yours at goodfeet.com.
Knee, foot, or back pain? Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
It's a new year, and Good Guys Heating and Cooling has a new heating and air special. It's a 2023 equipment blowout with prices on complete heat and air systems starting at just $8,995. If you have a high quote from another company, call the Good Guys for a free second opinion on repairs and replacement. Don't trust the other guys until you've called the Good Guys. Save 30% on the cost of your home's heating and cooling with proper attic insulation. For a no-cost estimate, call 530-GOOD-AIR or check them out online at goodguysheatingcooling.com. Best service, best price, guarantee. And that's no bull. License number 1057618.
Locked On Raptors podcast at 11 a.m. Get a little bit of a breakdown because in all of the fun that we've been having to start the show, Pascal Siakam has also it has also been reported that Pascal most likely will be dealt, and which is a huge story as well. So we will talk to Sean Woodley about that. Which would that drop last night, this morning?
Yeah, I think it was yesterday. It dropped, but I mean, obviously we've been talking about it for like a good calendar year.
But it's
now
good to know because I didn't know. I thought maybe you got some young pieces.
Right.
I mean, I don't think the ages are that different.
Right.
Maybe you mess around and do something, but it seems like they want to start that rebuild with their guys, with Emmanuel Quickley and with RJ Barrett. Don't forget the 49ers and Rams game this Sunday will be airing on KNCI HD2, starting with the pregame at 12:25 and kickoff at 1:25 because the Kings are going to get their get back, against the Pelicans. They're going to get it done. And that will be here on Sactown Sports. So, you know, the Moody Kuminga conversation, and if you're just now joining us, long story short, it's been reported that both of them aren't happy.
Yeah.
Okay. And both camps have come out within the last 2 days to say that they aren't happy. Kuminga was playing nice until last night where he was balling, locking down Aaron Gordon, who started cooking once he came out of the game. And he couldn't get back in the game. So this morning, Shams broke that Kuminga has lost faith in Steve Kerr. I don't know how you come back from that. I just don't. We're about to.
That's what I'm saying. I've never seen this before. I don't think you can.
Yeah. So I've never seen something like this normally, and we're going to have conversations about Harrison Barnes and Kevin Huerter being, I guess, officially made available, how that could affect the team moving forward. But that is not this. A lot of teams deal with that. This is on another level. So the question is, and you talked about it a little bit before, because Moses Moody also had some things to say, or his camp had some things to say yesterday before the game, who he's racking up DNPs like Sonic in rings, right? So he can't get on the court. So, and he balled, if I'm not mistaken. He kept the Warriors in the game. It was one of the home games against the Kings, Moses Moody was
He had
balling.
11 points, I remember.
Yeah,
and then Steve Kerr did what he's done.
Yes.
And he pulled him.
And that's the game that the Kings ended up winning.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
So I don't know what it is with Steve Kerr and these young Bulls that they do not want to give an opportunity to, or at least a consistent opportunity to. You said that you would rather have, not you would rather have, but you said definitely Kuminga to help.
Yeah.
I honestly might make Kuminga has played really, he's grown.
Yeah.
I'm torn on both though, because the whole thing coming out was Moses Moody, maybe a lower ceiling, but more ready to go.
Sure.
Kuminga, higher ceiling, more of a project. That's why I'm struggling, because we know what Kuminga can do defensively. Offensively, I think he's still trying to figure out who he is. I feel like on this team, and they're not, Moses Moody is only, I think, 23, 24. On this team,
21.
21.
Actually, yeah.
He's 21. Yes, and Kuminga is 21 or 20.
He's probably still 18.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like I might go Moses Moody.
I personally would rather have Kuminga. I think Kuminga makes a lot of sense. If you just plug and play him for the Harrison Barnes spot, like, I'm not really concerned about his offense. Like, his offense is really just a cherry on top.
Yeah.
I'm looking for him. We talk about athleticism and the Kings lacking it. I just need him to really be a freak athlete. Like, go around, protect the rim, fly around, like, just create chaos defensively. If he could play like I don't know if it's possible, but I imagine like a Sean Marion role for him, where it's just, again, be a lunatic on defense. Use all of your athletic gifts on the defensive end. We'll put you, like we've done with Keegan, on the other team's best point guard, or you could probably put Kuminga. He's long enough, he's tall enough to put him on, the Paul Georges, the Kawhis of the world. And offensively, I mean, his shot is definitely
it's on the way.
Yeah, it's
on the way.
Yeah. And then that's just, maybe you can afford it a little bit more now that De'Aaron's shooting 40%.
Right.
You can't really say you have two non-shooters, because that was the big thing with the Kings rotation before was, well, you have to put such specific people with Fox and Sabonis, because both of those two are non-shooters, and you can't add a third non-shooter, because then you have more non-shooters than shooters. And if Fox is shooting at 39, 40%, well, then maybe you can afford to kind of lose some of that shooting ability. And I think that there's still some stuff there. You can use Kuminga as a lob threat. The Kings really don't have one besides JaVale McGee right now.
Right.
Just somebody in general who's going to attack the rim. Not really anybody besides Malik and De'Aaron do that. I do think Moody would be a good fit offensively, but he, to me, feels a little bit more of a role player, and Kuminga,
for sure,
rightfully so. I mean, just with all of the athletic gifts, you feel like there's something that could be, I don't know about special, but there's something that could be really unique in there.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the Warriors, man, and how they really fumbled this situation.
It's crazy.
And now you're stuck with Draymond, because I don't see how Kuminga doesn't get moved. And not only do I not see how Kuminga doesn't get moved, I think that the leverage is out the window for the Warriors, right? I mean, the locker room is now fractured, okay? And now teams calling, what are the Warriors going to be able to ask for without them saying, hey, we know he wants to leave.
Yeah.
Right. And we know that you have to get him out the building now, because that locker room is a mess. You got
3 years to figure it out.
Right. You got Draymond coming back. So this is all you're going to get. Take it or leave it. So I don't know. Last night, I'm thinking, okay, even before all of this broke, okay, what would it take to get Kuminga if he was made available? Now I'm thinking, with this leverage, I don't know who the Warriors would want back, because you don't want. I made a little trade machine yesterday. It was a little bit tongue in cheek, but the problem is they're not going to want Harrison Barnes, because they're not going to want another forward. Right. Their problem is their logjam at forwards. So if you look at what the Warriors need, Kings can't afford to get rid of Alex Len, but the Warriors could always get bigger. Maybe we could finesse them into taking back JaVale. I don't know, but I think that's the issue with really both players, and that's why there's an issue with the Warriors. They got so many forwards that they're trying to figure out who's doing what. So I think that the Kings could definitely create a package to where you're not losing anything to get Kuminga. But off the top of my head, I don't know. Do you want Kevin Huerter Is he just coming off the bench?
I would guess maybe you could give them Davion Mitchell. Like, that's a defensive-minded point guard.
I mean, GP2, though. Well, GP2's not a point guard, and he's not a point guard. He's not a point guard.
You know, they were running out Corey Joseph for a minute. I mean, though he was like their backup, like even still, I think, you know, Davion was taken in the same draft as Moses Moody, so you're not really affecting your timeline at all. I'm curious what you think. I mean, you were a lot closer to the situation than any of us here. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like the 2 timeline thing just isn't something that could work? Like, of course, hindsight is always 2020, but the Warriors probably should have just leaned into a more veteran squad, right? Like, I mean, there was always the talk of, you know, even before they actually made the Wiseman pick, I think there was, I mean, of course, there was like some random Giannis rumors, but there was legitimate Bradley Beal rumors for that pick. Like, hindsight being 2020, is that just the way that the Warriors should have gone? Is just forgetting about trying to do this living in the present, but also living in the future thing, and just said, look, our window is here right now. Let's cash this stuff in. And maybe, who knows? I mean, you could say if they trade for Bradley Beal 3 years ago, is the Warriors championship window still happening, you know?
Yeah, and Joe Jaros on the Sack Chat. Shout out to the Sack Chat. Don't think I've shouted them out yet.
Not Joe, though.
Well, no, shout out Joe, too. Joe's our guy, because he said when we brought up is Steve Kerr a fraud, right? Is Bob Myers a fraud? Yeah. And I think that's a great point, because you missed with James. Now, what I struggle with the miss with James Wiseman is the same struggle. Did you miss with James Wiseman, or do you just sometimes get unlucky, right? I mean, they tried to that season. They stunk, so we got a lot of playing time, and it just didn't work out. I think a lot of teams that needed a big would have went with him. So that's why it's hard for me to say that. Yeah. But you have that situation. You have Kuminga. Now the Kuminga Moody thing.
Yes, real quick. I would say that the flawed logic for Myers there is, in my opinion, especially at the top of the draft, and I said this when the Kings took Keegan, and it ended up working out for the Kings, funny enough, but I don't think you should ever draft for need. Like, you should always draft best player available.
This is GM Chris.
You just never know. I mean, you just never know. Like, for that exact reason. Like, if
he was high on the list regardless.
He could shoot
the 3-ball lefty. But not holding it down for
you talking just NBA, Chris?
What's that?
Drafting,
I think
for position.
No, in football it's definitely in football you have to think about, you know, if we have a bad offensive
because
line,
that's where I was going actually. Because I struggle with that with the Raiders and Jamarcus Russell. Because everybody can say that the Raiders got it wrong, but I feel like most teams in that position that needed a quarterback would have drafted the Raiders or would have drafted Jamarcus Russell. So was it really on them? Most teams that needed a big man would have went with James Wiseman.
This happens every year, all the time, with all these top prospects.
So you
Marvin Bagley included.
Take James Wiseman out, and I have a couple of these other names. I
feel like they should have taken LaMelo Ball. I still feel like
I do too.
I know a lot of people felt like, you know, you already have Steph, or you already have
like,
Clay.
There's some bad
like,
names on
the
here.
Same thing.
There's some Patrick McCaw. Now, granted,
that's a 31st pick in the draft.
The team was good, so that's why Bob Myers probably gets a pass from me. And the Kuminga Moody thing is, when you're a championship team, where are you going to get minutes, right? So the Jordan Bells of the world, the Patrick McCaw, he had Jordan Poole. Okay, he had Jordan Poole. Smiley-Geach, that was a miss too, with 39.
Yeah,
Damian Jones.
I like Damian Jones.
Okay.
We had him here in Sacramento.
Festus Ezeli.
Festus was a solid role player.
So I think maybe Kevon Looney.
Yeah.
Is he drafted? Is this? I don't know if.
And these are all late. These are all
those are
late.
all 30s and later. Yeah.
Eric Pascal. That guy cracked me up. Man.
He was terrible.
41st overall. These are all late picks. Harrison Barnes, right? 7th overall. So I think that Bob Myers is when I come at Bob Myers for being quote unquote a fraud, it's not the draft per se. It's the kind of the manipulations and not even a fraud, maybe a little overstated. I was going to say,
why has it got to be a fraud?
No, and it's not Fraud Friday or anything like that. Maybe it's just
overrated. It's okay to say
a little overrated.
Overhyped or even overhyped.
A little overhyped the moves that he made. He didn't draft Steph. He was in the building when they drafted Clay, but he didn't draft Clay per se. So with the success that they already had when he came in, what was it really Bob Myers sitting down KD, or was it the fact that we're rolling? You know, and he did draft Draymond Green. right? And that was another home run.
He got Iguodala into town.
He got Iguodala into town, so he escapes that. But then you could say the same thing for Steve Kerr up until these last couple seasons. They just won a championship 2 seasons ago.
Sure.
So what is he supposed to do differently? And then this past season, Draymond socks a guy. Yeah. Now the question is, who was okay with Draymond and the coddling of Draymond Green? Because the way it looks when we're watching live, it doesn't look like it's Steve Kerr. No. It looks like it's the organization maybe as a whole. So
and Mike Dunleavy's just getting a pass also. No one's bringing up Mike Dunleavy's offseason. I mean, it's all the blame right now.
He just got into town.
Yeah, but he re-signed Draymond Green to a 4-year, $25 million contract. Again, that could have been the perfect. Bob Myers is gone. It feels like a perfect time to really.
You don't understand. He would have been enemy number one.
But he already I don't know.
Yeah.
He has the job. You might as well I don't know.
It's easy to say that the assumption that, hey, Draymond, we let you punch a guy and we re-signed you. Can you play nice now? There's 2 ways to look at it. To answer your question quickly about the 2 timeline thing, that was the biggest debate in the Bay. It was milk this core for whatever it's worth. You have to get everything out of Steph Curry. Trade Kuminga, trade the young guys. I don't trade the picks.
Right.
We don't care. Versus, hey, no, when Steph is gone, we don't want to go back to what we were before Steph. I was always in the camp of, you're not getting another Steph. Okay. The best that these young dudes are going to do is get to the second round. You're going to have to make more moves anyway. You're going to be looking for not another Steph, but another star. I don't see any stars here, right? So, because James Wiseman didn't work out. Kuminga, I don't know that he'll be a star or not. He's still young, right? It's possible, but you don't have that core. You hit a home run, and I think somebody said on the Sack Chat about the Giants, very similar to Posey and that core, right? You're not going to have that again, so milk it for everything that it's worth. That's where I was at, and they tried to do this hybrid. I remember Joe Lacob victory lapping after the 2022 championship. The 2 timelines, they were talking about, I literally read something. I still, to this day, Chris, don't know what it means. Joe Lacob was talking about creating a Warriors-themed amusement park. I don't know what that means.
Ahead, dude. They're light years ahead.
No, they were Steph Curry ahead. Yeah. And it's the horizon. The end is on the horizon. Got to get to a break. When we get back, 2 key Kings players have been made available. What does it mean? How will the team react? Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Will Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers brass go all the way this season? Could the Niners win their first Super Bowl since 1995? Join us throughout the season to hear all the games and all the analysis on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. That's 2,000 children every single day. It's a heart-wrenching reality that we can no longer ignore. Find the Children is a non-profit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted vehicle, running or not. Call 1-800-775-5622. We guarantee that you will receive the maximum tax deduction. We provide fast, free pickup with 24-hour response. Call 1-800-775-5622. Find the Children provides crucial resources to help find missing children and educational materials to teach kids how to recognize and avoid predators. Our recovery programs have a proven track record of reuniting kids with their families. It's time to act. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Help us build a world where every child is safe. Pick up the phone and call 1-800-775-5622. Together, we can bring these kids home safely. This advertisement was paid for by Cars R Us and Find the Children.
Yeah, that trailer hitch and folding bed cover from TruckSmart makes road trips a breeze.
Right? I'm so much more organized on the job site since TruckSmart installed my truck rack and toolbox.
And they had it all in stock, so I just waited as they installed everything.
Take a look at this sweet Rhino truck lining. They sprayed it on.
Yeah, you win. That is sweet.
Truck Smart, truck and SUV accessories for on the road and the job site. Stop by one of our 2 locations in Rockland or Auburn. TruckSmart.com. Your truck's going to love them.
I'm Craig Ashton of the injury law firm of Ashton & Price. The winter months bring joy, but also with more rain and snow, unfortunately, more accidents. Over the last quarter century, thousands of Northern California residents have looked to Ashton & Price to be their root op with a law license to guide them through the storm of an injury claim. As always, we wish you and your family the safest and happiest of holidays. But if you need us, at Ashton & Price, we're here for you. So whether you've been naughty or nice, happiest holidays from Ashton & Price.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton
and Price.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-859-3220. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 to 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-859-3220. That's 800-859-3220 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-859-3220. 800-859-3220.
Hello, I'm Frank Cockrell with Retirement Security Centers with a weekly economic update. 2023 ended up being a good year for stock market growth. But what did the flow of money into stock market-based funds tell us? 2023 saw inflows of more than $172 billion, the lowest since 2019. Money market funds, likely led by the high interest rates, saw inflows of $1.34 trillion, exceeding the past 3 years combined. As interest rates decrease, there may be more money on the sidelines that could flow into stock-based investments, providing fuel for more growth. Will the Federal Reserve cut rates in 2024? Stocks represented by the S&P 500 have never rallied more than 11% in the 3 months prior to a rate cut. After a rate cut, stocks tend to rally for up to 7 months with an average gain of 12%. According to investors.com, the first cut has a 78% chance of happening by May 2024, possibly one of up to 6 cuts in 2024. How might this affect you or your family? Please go to frankontheradio.com to schedule an appointment, watch videos, and receive market updates. I'm ready to help you start your journey so you can define your future.
Frank Cockrell is a registered representative of Lincoln Financial Advisors Corporation, a broker-dealer and member SIPC and registered investment advisor. Retirement Security Centers is not an affiliate of Lincoln Financial Advisors.
Sactown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking up to 2 p.m. We will be joined by Locked On Raptors host Sean Woodley in the next segment at 11 o'clock to talk Raptors and to talk about the future of that team in the 666 as they take on the Kings tonight in Sactown. The 49ers and Rams will play this Sunday, and the game will be airing on KNCI HD2, starting with the pregame at 12:25 and kickoff at 1:25, because the Kings will be beating the Pelicans on the Sactown Sports.
They better be. They better be.
Are you feeling better about it? Or do you need to see I can't tell if they win tonight. Will you feel better about Sunday and the Pelicans, or if they lose tonight, will you feel better about the Pelicans and Sunday?
I don't know if either will make me feel better. I just think I'm just going in there with no I'm going to walk in there with the expectation of being disappointed, so that anything else is just a positive.
I haven't checked in on the Pelicans, but I know they're not 100% healthy.
Yeah, no, I was thinking the same thing. I checked too. Relatively, considering their health in the past, they kind of are. I'm seeing the injury report right now is Trey Murphy day-to-day, Matt Ryan out. But with that team, things pop up overnight. So I thought the same exact thing. I was like, what are the odds that we have played the Pelicans 4 times this year and they've been healthy all 4?
Yeah, that's actually...
It's insane.
The odds on that are.
You want to talk about
nuts.
The Kings having injury luck last year? Well, whatever the opposite of that is
right. Injury luck for the opposing teams.
Right.
Always getting the healthy team. Here's a quote from that Athletic article on Jonathan Kuminga. Quote, "Sometimes I come out of the game not knowing what I did, and that messes with my head. It's like what they want me to do. I can pass and I can do different bleep."
Oof.
Those quotes.
See, and then this is another interesting thing to kind of put side by side with what we were talking about yesterday with Mike Brown, right? The difference in, a guy like Mike Brown or just in terms of coaching style, Mike Brown, yes, he did do the same exact thing to Malik Monk, where Malik talks about how, Mike Brown admitted, I didn't properly coach you right in that moment. I sat you, but I didn't give you the information or didn't say anything to you. I just sat you on the bench, didn't give you a reason why. The next day, again, like we talked about, Mike Brown took the accountability to call Malik not not just, hey, pull you aside at the end of practice or in the middle of practice, called him into his office to look at him eye to eye and apologize and have a conversation. And clearly that kind of communication is not happening in Golden State, where Kuminga, flat out says it there. I just want to know what I did wrong. Like, as a competitor, as an athlete, I feel like I'm doing well. I'm Jonathan Kuminga. I'm putting up 17 points in the starting lineup now, and you're just pulling me. I need to know what to do better, especially as a young player. You're meant to be, and that's why I think the word in the Shams tweet is development, and he doesn't believe that Kerr will allow him to reach his full potential. Mm-hmm. That's him saying, I know I need to grow, but it's your job to help me grow, lead me in the right direction, and he's not getting any direction right now, and that's not good for any young player. No young player is just going to be able to figure it out by themselves.
No, it was a crazy quote last night, and we were talking a little bit about Steve Kerr being a fraud, and I don't think he's a fraud, but Warriors fans want him out of here, right?
That's crazy.
So last night he was asked,
insane.
But no, but he cannot be a fraud, and you still want him out of here.
Yeah, that's fine.
I
think that it's okay to acknowledge, hey, it might be time, again, for a shifting of eras, but to say that this guy doesn't know what he's doing, full stop, period, get him out.
No, They feel
that's
like
insane.
They feel like the Warriors could have won more if not for Steve Kerr. I'm just saying.
No.
It's not me saying
it's insane.
So this was a crazy quote last night, and I'm paraphrasing here from Steve Kerr, because he was asked, as you are saying, hey, do we know why Kuminga sat in Kuminga? And again, saying it to the media isn't the same as, hey, let me sit you down. This was post-game, so maybe he didn't have time. I don't know. But Steve Kerr was asked about why he didn't put Kuminga back in. He essentially said, well, because it's either Kuminga or Wiggins. That's the logjam. Well, Wiggins was playing really well, and we were up by 18, and by the time essentially the wheels started to fall off, I had sat Kuminga for too long.
Okay.
And he got destroyed.
Well, that doesn't make any. That's not a good excuse.
He got destroyed. So
it was already rolling. So
you have Coach Mike Brown, and look, we get it. Coach Kerr, champion time and time again.
Yeah.
But you have Coach Mike Brown going to Malik Monk and saying, hey, we need you to, this is what happened, blah, 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 let's move forward. And you have Coach Kerr saying random statements to the media, who I would give kudos to, Warriors media as well, because they're saying, hey, man.
They're asking tough questions.
Yeah, you can't just weasel your way out of this anymore. You got to give legit answers. And then it gets a little bit awkward when he says that. You can't say, well, that makes no sense.
Yeah, right.
Coach. Hey, Coach. Alan South, Sactown Sports.
So when things are going bad, you're just going to keep who's responsible for it going bad. You're just going to keep them out there because they put you in that situation.
Yeah,
okay. You don't want to switch it up maybe if things aren't going well.
No, let's just keep rocking and rolling. All right, let's get to the locker room out here in Sacramento, as it has been reported that the Kings have made Harrison Barnes and Kevin Huerter available. I don't know if it's going to affect the locker room or not. I don't know how people are going to react. I think the writing was on the wall, but when something leaks like this, you're Kevin Huerter on social media or Harrison Barnes getting ready to do your taxes, and you check this, right? You have to be thinking, okay, I gotta go into.
He's definitely got a good tax guy.
Oh, he definitely does.
Yeah.
He does not.
Hey, Rook, come here.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Come tax season, come around my.
You know what? He doesn't do the new apps things. He still does it with somebody.
TurboTax. There's no way.
No. I got to get it done by my guy. Yeah. I got a guy. He'll take care of you. Bring your W-2, and we'll get it taken care of. So you wake up, you see this report. I'm sure Harrison Barnes figured.
Ultimate professional, man.
Yes. Kevin Huerter recently benched. Figures, okay, maybe my time has come. You walk into the building today. If you are a leader, if you're a Sabonis, if you're De'Aaron Fox, do you say anything?
No.
It's just business as usual.
Yeah. No, it's a business. There's rumors are going to happen. It's a part of it. You just gotta. I mean, you got to ignore it. Like, as crazy as it is, as impossible as it might seem, like, I really don't think, especially a guy like Harrison Barnes, he's not on socials. I mean, I'm sure he, because it does you no good. Like, if you're going to look at Pascal Siakam and OG Anunoby, if they were looking at Twitter and Jake Fisher articles all the time, they would have thought that they would have been moved a year and a half ago. So as a professional athlete, you just got to kind of put your head down and say, well, I got to keep playing until they tell me to go anywhere else. So I might as well, try and keep my career going, because, the worst thing that could happen is you see those rumors and you put you kind of, sulk a little bit, and then you don't end up getting traded at all. And then you just end up being a bad player for the team that you're already on, and you get buried further and further on the bench. So you just got to put your head down and not acknowledge it, really.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, got to get to a break. When we get back, Sean Woodley of the Locked On Raptors podcast joins us to talk Raptors, to talk Pascal Siakam. Is he coming to Sacramento? Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
Sacramento's premier music festival, Country in the Park, is back. 2 big ol' nights, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo, with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Walker Hayes, and more. 2-day GA tickets are on sale now, starting at $85, or upgrade your experience with VIP or pit passes. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPFest.com. Brought to you by Bonnie Plumbing, Electric Heating and Air.
Big savings are back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Looking to own or lease? We have options for everyone. Plus, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make for lower payments. It's no wonder Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop. Get an instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
The 49ers Report, brought to you by EB Stone. EB Stone, for the life of your garden. The 49ers rang in 2024 with 2 wins. First, defeating Washington 27-10 on the road, Week 17. Then, they clinched the NFC thanks to Arizona's win over Philadelphia. San Francisco now heads into Week 18 with the best record in the conference to finish out the regular season against Los Angeles, before having a bye week to open the postseason.
Welcome the new year with EB Stone, your go-to for indoor gardening success. In 2024, enrich your indoor oasis with EB Stone's Indoor Potting Mix, our best premium blend crafted for vibrant growth. Explore our comprehensive range from soil amendments to fertilizers and find everything your indoor garden craves. Nurture new beginnings, cultivate lush landscapes, and witness your dreams unfold. Cheers to a green and thriving new year with EB Stone, the heartbeat of your indoor garden success. Find a location near you for our products and tips at ebstone.org.
California's largest sportsman's expo is back, January 18th at Cal Expo in Sacramento. Bring the family and discover your next adventure. Buy the latest gear, find the best destinations, learn from the experts in fishing and hunting. On the weekend, visit the Giant Youth Fair, free entry for youth 15 and under. Your life outdoors at the International Sportsman's Expo, January 18th through 21st at Cal Expo in Sacramento. More info at sportsexpos.com.
Awesome. Hey, babe, can you check the front door? My package is here.
Yeah, on it. Hey, are we still watching our show tonight?
New episode on Prime? You bet. That reminds me, let's hit Whole Foods this afternoon. We need snack supplies.
From package deliveries to entertainment and even fresh groceries, Amazon is in front of hundreds of thousands of customers every single day. Imagine what you could do if your business had that kind of reach. It's not a dream. Right now, you can take advantage of Amazon's expansive network to benefit your business. Unlock expert insights and tap into the full potential of Amazon. Simply text DIGITAL to 916-766-5105 now. Make the smart move. Text DIGITAL to 916-766-5105. Put the power of Amazon to work for you. Text DIGITAL, that's DIGITAL, to 916-766-5105.
Guys, want to lose weight, improve your performance, and increase your drive?
Revive Men's Health Sacramento can help you address the root causes of weight gain, low energy, poor drive, and performance issues. And since your testosterone level has a direct impact on your weight and fitness, we'll give you a free T-check and free exam at Revive Sacramento. Imagine upping your game, losing weight, and getting in shape all at once. Revive can help you make it happen with our new cutting-edge weight loss medications like your favorite athletes and celebrities use. They're affordable and available now. Weight gain and low T are treatable conditions. We know we can help you. Take that first step and book today. You're only one step away from getting in the best shape of your life. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Get your retirement savings to play ball with your retirement plan. Call Cap Trust today at 916-924-7527 or log on to captrust.com.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Tape it on the local level. Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios. Sactown Sports.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. A lot of trade talk on the court, off the court. Who's happy, who's not. A lot of reports. But there's also a game tonight between the Toronto Raptors and the Sacramento Kings. The Toronto Raptors have won 2 straight. They are the new look Raptors now after acquiring RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickly. And Sean Woodley of the Locked On Raptors podcast is here to break it all down with us. Sean, how you doing? Thanks for joining us.
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me, guys.
Of course, of course. So let's start here. You know, really excited to talk because from the outside looking in, it's been very confusing with Masai Ujiri and holding these guys hostage, the 2 guys we've been hearing about for what feels like years now. So one of them gets moved. There's a report that comes out about Pascal Siakam. What do you feel like is the long-term plan for the Raptors?
It's tough because I think what I think should be the long-term plan is probably different than what the front office is thinking right now. And look, they know better than I do, but, they'll forget more about basketball by dinner time than I'll ever know. But I do think the trade for Emmanuel Quickly and RJ Barrett should maybe change the outlook here with Pascal Siakam. I do think it was absolutely necessary to trade one of OG or Pascal. I think the fit had gotten stale. Obviously, both being pending UFAs, you couldn't go into the offseason like they did last year with multiple pending UFAs. Last year, of course, Fred VanVleet, the guy who walked for nothing. Like, they just couldn't afford to do that again with 2 guys as important as Siakam and OG. And so you trade OG. I think, given their druthers, he's probably the guy they would have preferred to keep, but I do think there was probably some inkling given by OG's camp over the last month or so before the trade that he was going to be the guy sent out. But then you get Emmanuel Quickly and RJ Barrett back, and all of a sudden, this team got to make some sense. Emmanuel Quickly is the type of guard who fits perfectly with Scotty Barnes, number one. But also, if you look at some of the best years of Pascal Siakam's career, they've come playing with guards who have shooting gravity, who can create play both on and off the ball. Kyle Lowry, obviously the main guy I'm talking about here, but Fred VanVleet, the peak of his powers too, was a really great running mate for Siakam. And I kind of look at this Quickly Siakam Barnes trio and think, that's kind of awesome. And if you have the opportunity to keep Siakam long-term, which they do, it seems like all they got to do is offer him his 4-year max extension, and he'll take it. He wants to be in Toronto. I think that's a very worthwhile pathway here. Obviously, they got to look at trades too. The salary and, the figuring out a contract is a big deal here. And so maybe they find a deal that makes it worth it for Siakam. But looking around the landscape, I'm having a hard time seeing a deal that gets enough back to the Raptors where I feel like they've actually improved their station going forward, as opposed to just running with Quickly, Barnes, Barrett, and Siakam as a group of 4 here to try to build with over the next few years.
Yeah, Sean, it's interesting you mentioned that. I mean, I remember, when Pascal Siakam first came up and when also his name kind of first started coming up in trade rumors, there was a lot of talk of hey, hold on. I know Masai really, really likes Pascal. He found him, I believe, through the Basketball Without Borders program, and kind of was a crowning jewel for Masai. Just kind of found him out of nowhere, and so he's not going to be really quick to just kind of get rid of him. It sounds to me like you don't really think if you were a betting man, it kind of sounds like you're leaning towards it. It doesn't sound like a guarantee that Pascal is going to be moved, kind of like what it seems like the wave is kind of trending towards. Would you say that? And do you also feel like the Kings could get a deal done for Pascal without including Keegan Murray, which seems the Kings are pretty hard set in?
Yeah, so I think for me, I think looking at what they got back for OG is pretty telling as to what they'll be looking back for in return for Pascal. And I don't think they're the type of franchise that likes to go into the tank and rebuild and sort of build around draft picks. I think they want good players back to pair with Scotty Barnes, who is awesome. Kings fans are going to get to see it up close tonight. That dude has taken an incredible leap this season, kind of an unprecedented one when you think about all the different ways in which he's taken a leap, from his creation to his three-point shooting to his defense. He's been just amazing and seems maybe further along and ahead of schedule than we all thought coming into this year. And so I think they want pieces who can run with Scotty right away. Emmanuel Quickly is a perfect example of that, a 24-year-old guard who has a perfect skill set to mesh with Siakam. And so I look at the Kings, and yeah, when I look at Kings players to say, hey, like, who's the guy that you try to pry away from Sacramento? It's Keegan Murray. And that's kind of it for me, honestly. Right. You know, Kevin Huerter, Harrison Barnes, nice players. I don't think they fit the sort of young and sort of projectable style that it looks like this team wants to go and lean into. So, yeah, and also with the picks that the Kings still owe at the door for the Kevin Huerter trade and things like that, I don't know if they have the full pick package to make it compelling if they're not going to include Keegan Murray. And frankly, like, look, I love Pascal Siakam. I'm curious what you guys think about this, but I don't look at the Kings as a team that really fit very well for Pascal as a landing spot. I think him and Domantas Sabonis as a front court, it's kind of redundant. There's a lot of similarity there in the way those guys play, the spots on the floor they occupy. You know, it'd still be fun. I'd be really thrilled to watch Siakam play with De'Aaron Fox, but I do have a hard time envisioning the fit there. It does feel, honestly, like an OG Anunoby would have been the better of the two Raptors guys for the Kings to go and target, just because of the way he provides incredible wing defense and three-point shooting to kind of upgrade that Harrison Barnes spot. Siakam's a tough guy to fit into a team in the middle of the season when you're trying to go and do something in the playoffs. And so I don't know if it's worth it for either side, you know, to come to a deal for Siakam, frankly, between these two teams in particular.
Talking to Sean Woodley, host of the Locked On Raptors. And Sean, come on, we're having a great time here. Do not bring up Keegan Murray in a trade. You're going to get us in trouble because he is untouchable for us. And here's the thing, Sean, hold on. Just give me a second here. You get Harrison Barnes, a veteran. You got some young guys. Sean, you could use some veteran leadership. Come on. Doesn't that sound good? Herder, some shooting. It makes sense. Come on.
Brother, this Raptors team is paying like a whole lot of millions of dollars to Thad Young, Otto Porter Jr., and Garrett Temple to be like coaches on the sidelines. They don't need more vets, man. They're good. They're all set in that regard.
That's fair. I know it's been a small sample size. You spoke about it a little bit as well, but can you really detail how the OG trade has changed how the Raptors have played, getting these two guys back and really opened up that offense?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is Emmanuel Quickly, right? This team just did not have any sort of dynamism from the guard position. Dennis Schroeder has been okay, not great, and he's been miscast, frankly. He was the starting point guard, and frankly, he is a backup point guard, and one of the better backup point guards in the league. It's way better to have the third best backup point guard than it is to have the 28th best starting point guard, which is what I kind of think Dennis Schroeder was. He did what he could for what he is, but he's a mid-level exception guard. He's Dennis Schroeder. We all know who Dennis Schroeder is. Emmanuel Quickly comes in, and the instant thing that has totally transformed the offense just in 2 games is he can pull up from three basically anywhere, and he can move just so jitterbug-like all over the floor. It's an element this team just did not have the last couple seasons, where they played this very sort of grind it down, isolation, find the mismatch, just sort of bog it down to a crawl essentially in the half court. They really had to live in transition to get anything good. And then Quickly comes in, and all of a sudden, Jakob Poeltl looks a little better because he's playing with a guard who's got shooting gravity, who defenses have to fight over screens against. That gives Poeltl more space to roll towards the rim. It gives Quickly, a guy who has roll gravity to allow him to drive to the basket. You get Scotty Barnes, who can play both on and off the ball now, is a really good three-point shooter. Him and Quickly, I'm thrilled to watch what their chemistry is going to develop into, because I think their skill sets just mesh so beautifully. And just that extra pull-up juice and that creativity, the sort of downhill energy that Quickly provides, this team has been sorely lacking. Even Fred VanVleet didn't offer that sort of punch that Quickly offers. And then Barrett, he's a bit of a polarizing guy. I think everyone's very happy to have a star Canadian player playing for the Canadian team and all of that. It's a fun story. He seems to be super bought in and very happy to be here. I'm still, jury's out on how well he's going to fit, but I do think he brings a little bit more in terms of, in combination with Quickly, defensive, just sort of potency at the point of attack. Their guard defense this season has been so bad before the trade. Barrett and Quickly help shore that up. And he's also just a nice driver. He can go and kind of, late in the clock, something, they just need to get something. Barrett can barrel himself to the rim, get free throws, put up a little push shot, stuff like that. And I think his drives are more effective than what OG Anunoby's were. And I think, frankly, he's working with more space than OG was. And so those drives are easier to come by as well. So, yeah, I think the fit's been really, really clean. Dennis Schroeder's playing awesome basketball as a backup point guard right now. The team is still very thin. They're basically 7 deep and trying to figure out what their 8 and 9 guys are going to look like. But I do like the fit of this team right now. And I'd be kind of disappointed if we only get 4 or 5 more weeks in it with Pascal Siakam in there, because I do think there's lots to build on here.
Sean Woodley, host of Locked On Raptors. Sean, before I let you go, I was going to ask, as the Kings fans, might not watch the Raptors that much, who should they keep an eye on tonight? You've made it very clear it should be Scotty Barnes to keep an eye on tonight and just see and watch his leap. My question for you is Emmanuel Quickly. Will he be a part of the starting lineup so our guy Malik Monk can raise up in the 6th Man of the Year award? Emmanuel Quickly deserves to start, Sean.
Oh, yeah. He started the first 2 games. He's going to run with his starting job. They're very clearly committed to him. And he's playing extremely well so far out of the gate as well. I'd be pretty stunned. And frankly, I feel like the fan base would be lining up with pitchforks outside the arena if Darko Rajakovic were not going to start Quickly going forward. He's been awesome. He's been a thrill to watch. So, yeah, he's 100% going to start. Malik Monk, very clear. He'll have my vote. If I had a vote, I don't have one, but if I had one, Malik Monk's my guy. He's awesome. And so, yeah, I think Quickly will get out of his way to help his old Kentucky pal out and carry on as a starter for the Raptors for the rest of the season, and especially tonight.
There you go. Great stuff, Sean Woodley. Sean, that was awesome. We will definitely have you on again. Good luck the rest of the season to your Toronto Raptors, and we will talk soon.
Thanks a lot. Cheers, guys.
Sean Woodley, host of Locked On Raptors. Got to get to a break. When we get back, continuing the conversation. I also want to talk about another Western Conference team. Did we underestimate the Nuggets? Maybe I did. I don't know about Chris, though. Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division type GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars and All-NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam team, Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
The new year is upon us with promises of new beginnings and new adventures, but don't let 2023 slip away without savoring the memories of all you enjoyed with family and friends. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. Of course, looking forward with anticipation is exciting, but I have a lot to appreciate in this past year, and much of that revolves around time with family and more good time spent around my Naturewood dining table. Watching my grandson get messy with his birthday cake is priceless, and it reminds me that new life is the perfect balance between yesterday and today. Greet the new year with a visit to Naturewood Home Furnishings. See all the fine furniture and accessories on sale with Naturewood's New Year sale. Find that perfect piece of furniture that's new today and filled with memories for tomorrow. The memories you make with your family will be with you forever. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
local. Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. Thanks again to Sean Woodley, host of Locked On Raptors, who had a lot to say about the Toronto Raptors. Look, Chris.
Yep.
We spoke yesterday, and you scared me when you started saying Kings should take care of this, that, the third. I said, you're giving me Charlotte Hornets vibes. And now I'm talking to Sean, and he said they're kind of rolling. Yeah. They might not even move Pascal, even though there are reports that he will most likely be moved. More so, they're probably not going to go to the Kings.
Right. Sean made that kind of clear.
Man, now I'm not feeling good about tonight. I'll put it to you like this. It's not that I'm not feeling good about tonight.
Yeah.
I feel like it's going to have to be a quality win.
Sure.
I'll put it to you like that. It's not, I don't know that they're going to blow these guys out.
Yeah. I think the hope that you can get is that, again, it still is a new team that's still coming together. I mean, Sean said they've played 2 or 3 games together so far. There's still a lot of figuring out process in real time. And you just got to hope that, frankly, I mean, the Kings kind of catch them in some stagnant offense. Like, I think the Kings, in a weird way, like we've talked about it before, especially last year, sometimes their offense can be their best defense. So on a night like tonight, like maybe it's not so much about making sure obviously the Kings need to be focused and locked in defensively, but with a new team that's coming together, maybe you force them to play at their offensive best as well, where, maybe they don't know each other's tendencies. They're not super comfortable playing in a foot race of a scoring game. And so, I think, there's definitely some fear, but when I think about this Toronto Raptor team, at least in the past, and Sean is saying that there is a lot more offensive weaponry for this team nowadays, but I just think that the Raptors are a team that, in my eyes, could be slowed down. Like, you can slow them down traditionally to kind of get to a halt. Now, Manuel Quickley is a high-powered point guard.
I want to see De'Aaron try to check him.
Yeah, exactly. And De'Aaron should be like, we should leave tonight absolutely saying, oh, yeah, De'Aaron Fox had a much better game than Emmanuel Quickley, because De'Aaron Fox is much better than Emmanuel Quickley. I want to see, like, that's more of a Malik Monk kind of guy that he should be going head-to-head with. And, I mean, Sean said it there, too. I do think Pascal and Sabonis bring a lot of similar traits, and so I think that should be pretty much a stalemate. To me, this game might end up coming down to the guys Sean talked about the most, Scotty Barnes versus De'Aaron Fox, who can have the bigger night, because I do think that there's a lot of similarities and a lot of crossing each other out now with how these two teams are kind of, going head to head.
Yeah, and with Emmanuel Quickley now being upgraded to the starting lineup, and it seems like the Raptors are going to see what he can do in that position. Dennis Schroeder is a guy who, as soon as you count him out and as soon as you think this guy is nothing to really worry about, that's where he burns you.
Off the bench is perfect.
Off the bench really is. I know his 3 ball has really just gone hot and cold, mostly cold, but that's a matchup that you would think Malik would win. And then you would also say that, okay, let's not forget the name that we said when you say Scotty Barnes versus De'Aaron, and obviously you're not talking head-to-head, but the 2 stars.
Yeah.
Let's not forget about Keegan Murray. Right. This is another opportunity for Keegan Murray.
For a team that has tons of forwards.
Exactly.
Against a team, I should say.
Exactly. And where do you stack up? Yeah. Okay, and Sean tried to joke about getting Keegan. You got enough forwards, Sean. You're not getting Keegan. So I am much more excited. I didn't really know how to feel about this game.
Yeah.
But I also think that most fans, you win 2 games right after the trade. I do feel
Everyone
like
feels like this is new. This is awesome.
Let's see. And to your point, I don't know if Masai Ujiri is I don't know if this is a tryout or I don't know if it's we have our plan. You guys can go ahead and win games, but we're still shopping Siakam. I don't know if it got to we won 8 of our last 10. So you know what? We're just going to hold on to Siakam and see what happens. We don't know, but I do know that if as a team, their thought process is going to be, we're going to go out and show that we can do this. And like you said, very beautifully earlier on in the show, Siakam's been in these talks for at least 2 years now.
Yeah.
So he's used to this for sure. All right. Let's talk about the Nuggets for a second.
Yeah.
We spent a good portion of the beginning of the show talking about the Warriors and how they blew it. But I saw a lot of tweets going around when the Nuggets were losing, and not as if they were saying that the Warriors are back. It was more so that the Nuggets could be had. Very similar to what we've been saying. I don't see a dynasty happening here. No disrespect, but you might get a couple. You might get one, maybe two more.
I think they can win one or two more.
Right, but
I would say one is most likely.
When you think dynasty, it's the funny thing about dynasty is the word dynasty is, does it matter how hard or easy it is? Because we think the Warriors are a dynasty because during those KD years, you might as well not turn on the TV.
Sure.
Because you knew what was going to happen. Tom Brady, it's a little bit interesting because football's a little bit different. It's hard to just roll. And the one season they did roll, they lost to Eli Manning. So when you look at the Nuggets, the idea of dynasty, I think, depends on your definition. But I could see the Nuggets getting 3 before Jokic is done. But I don't see them getting 3 in a row.
No, I don't think they'll get 3 in a row. I think they have a shot this year. I feel like they have been undersold a bit this year, but it's going to be tough kind of once they're really building this thing out and contracts are coming up. And, Michael Porter Jr., is he going to want to continue to stay in that role? Aaron Gordon, is he going to want to get paid as what he's getting paid now? KCP, all the pieces kind of start to fall off and you got to replace them. And it just becomes kind of, actually not really. I was going to say like the Niners D coordinator spot, but that ended up working out for them as well. But it's only so many times can you replace somebody as they go before you're going to mess up that replacement spot. So, I think that they can still win it this year. I think at the end of the day, when you're talking about playoffs, it's a completely different beast than the regular season. Because as I was watching yesterday, the reason why the Nuggets are right back near the top of my championship list is, how are you going to stop Jokic? Because first and foremost, you have to figure out how to stop him as a scorer. Because we saw in the finals, that was the big thing that changed over last year's playoff run was Jokic was no longer afraid to just say, you can't stop me. I'm going to get 35 easy. And then you already know I'm going to get 12 rebounds. And you better not double team me or else I'm going to get 15 assists on top of that as well. And what that means for getting everybody else involved. I think that there's still not an answer for most contenders, with the exception of, honestly, Minnesota presents really interesting battle or counter with their 3 bigs with Nas and Cat and Gobert. That's really the only team I can think of that could probably stop or slow down Jokic enough to win 4 games in a series. Maybe the Lakers, if they make another move. AD, we saw how that movie went last year, but AD still ideally is a guy who's fast enough to get around Jokic, but also long and talented enough to stay in front of him. It's tough. I still, in the West, it's going to be tough to get him out. I don't know if they're going to be a dynasty, though. I don't think the other pieces, I like Jamal Murray a lot. I don't think he's the number 2 for a dynasty, though.
Yeah, I don't either.
I guess like Tony Parker would probably be like if you would say the worst number 2 of like the past couple dynasties. Like,
it was a different time.
Yeah, it's just exactly. No, and you could argue Jokic is as good as Tim Duncan was, but also like you have to have somebody who's just your number 1 is outweighing everybody else's number 1 so much that you can kind of afford to have not as good of a number 2.
And it still remains to be seen with Jamal Murray and his health.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Michael Porter Jr.
All
too.
of them. That's a team that every team is just one injury away, but this is a team that
don't let Jokic go down.
Then it would be a wrap.
Yeah.
Then
completely.
You're looking. What you might do, you might have a situation like the Warriors, and really the Warriors. What's crazy? Not to get back to the Warriors, but the way they tricked off that season due to the 2 injuries. That's so true, because how often does a team get a lottery pick in the middle of a dynasty?
Never.
And they won in 2022, so nobody cared. Yeah. But
the Celtics kind of did recently with Tatum and Brown, but
they don't have a ring though.
Yeah, they don't have a ring to show for.
You know what I mean? So yeah, it's just really hard to sustain this because you're not going to get that top of the tier talent when you are winning. So yeah, you're going to have to do some wheeling and dealing, and GMs are going to have to make their money and really butter their bread to get it done. But I think that to make this short term, I probably was underestimating the Nuggets this season, but I do still feel like there are teams with pieces that could stop them. And I don't know what it is, man. I just it's not Jamal Murray as much. I might be higher on Jamal Murray than you are, but I'm probably lower on KCP than you are.
Okay.
And that it's the KC. I'm not believing that they're going to run it. We forget about Bruce Brown, and what he's doing now. He's off in Indiana. I think Aaron Gordon is a big help, but I do think that if you stick to the game plan and just, hey, we're just going to let Aaron Gordon took some bad threes last night.
Yeah.
He's shooting less than 30% from three, and he's the guy that every announcer, well, Bob, if he makes one, that's actually good because then he'll start shooting.
Right.
I do think that every team has weaknesses, but I feel like it's if I'm comparing, I don't know if this has ever been done before, Jokic to Mahomes, right? I think that
definitely not. In terms of I don't think that's ever been.
I think that the receivers that he has are better than what Mahomes has now,
right.
But there is a quote unquote defense out there that can weather the storm. It might be in the East though. It might not be. Yeah. It might not be in the West. So we'll see what happens with Denver. But great win for them last night. I'll be honest. I was rooting for the Warriors. I know it's early to watch the records and watch the standings, but I would have liked the Warriors win there. They're now 2 games under 500. Could have taken an L for the Nuggets. I wouldn't have minded that.
No, I'm not the right guy to ask. I'll tell you that right now. There was zero part of me that was
you just say it's too early.
Go Dubs.
No. Well, okay. Well, then what if it's
a
game? What if it's this? Dubs are doing their thing. Who cares about where they are in the standings? They got to beat X team, and if they don't beat X, if they beat X team, the Kings get the Mavs in the first round. If they lose, the Kings get the Clippers in the first round.
Yeah.
Are you rooting for the Warriors then?
If I have to. But knowing them, they'll probably lose because I'm rooting for them on that day. That happened a couple times last year. There was a Minnesota game or a New Orleans game where they had to win for the Kings to benefit in some way. I can't even remember what it was, but the Warriors ended up tricking that one off too. So it just feels like, I just stay away. I just root for their demise, and
that's fair enough.
I let the chips fall where they may.
Got to get to a break. When we get back, we will read off a lot of the pieces of the Jake Fisher article that have to do with the Kings and have to do with the surrounding pieces around the Kings. All that and more. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The Sacramento Kings play here.
He's got the triple. Sacramento takes the lead.
Get your Kings fix all season long right here on your home of the Sacramento Kings, Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
When you're rolling Charmin, ultra soft on the potty. This is more, so roll it back, everybody. Charmin's irresistibly soft and hella nice. The grip is always soft. It's our party vibe. It's cushioning things so my cheeks feel flat. So what? Everybody wanna touch the sky.
Charmin Ultra Soft is irresistibly soft and more absorbent, so you can use less. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
We're for Washington. We love Febrez's new scent. Refresh and energize.
So much we made a song about it.
I can't escape this feeling inside. Refresh and energize. It's a mood, it's a vibe. Breathing for the first time. So free, so alive. Breathe happy for free. Smells like paradise. Breathe happy for
The Arnold Law Firm has seen how an injury can turn anyone's life upside down. Whether it's a slip and fall, a car accident, or any other kind of injury. For almost 50 years, the Arnold Law Firm has been here to help you through the entire process to protect you and your family. If you are ever injured or in an accident, call the Arnold Law Firm. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777. That's 916-777-7777.
The world has changed a lot these last few years. You can do pretty much anything from your home, including order your new Honda from Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Check out our great selection at StocktonHonda.com or come in today and get pre-approved all in the blink of an eye. Stockton Honda makes buying a car simple and stress-free.
anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Sacramento's premier music festival, Country in the Park, is back. 2 big old nights, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Walker Hayes, and more. Today, GA tickets are on sale now starting at $85, or upgrade your experience with VIP or pit passes. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPFest.com. Brought to you by Bonnie Plumbing, Electric Heating and Air.
Carmichael Dave here for my good friends at American Energy Heating and Air. Right now, American Energy offering $0 HVAC diagnostics. That's normally $99 for nothing. Let the American Energy team test your system, connections, and all the moving parts of your system to ensure it's functioning properly. Let me say that again. $0 to get your HVAC diagnostic-ted. That's not even a word. That's normally $100. Making the uncomfortable comfortable. That's what American Energy does. That's what they've done since 1981. Been serving the greater Sacramento area since then. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. Call today to schedule your appointment at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990. Do it before January 31st or go to AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Kevin Lewis of National Garage Door. Whether you need to repair a broken spring, install a new opener, or buy a quality Rainer door, National Garage Door is here for you. Call us today to see how we can transform your house with a new garage door.
638-4554 National Garage Door.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. Ask a question, a little bit in jest to Chris before the break about whether he said he was happy about the game, the way it ended. And I said, hey, it's a little bit early to be looking at the records, but I felt like, hey, the Warriors are not a threat right now to me. And the Nuggets are, so I'd take a Warriors W here in helping the Kings. And Chris said, yeah, I'm not going to do that. Yeah. We're here on the Sac Chat, the YouTube chat here for Stiles and Watkins. And you have Martin saying, never will cheer for the Warriors. Chris Scarberry chiming in as well. Ever. Never, ever, ever. Fair enough. Fair enough. I'm just saying, if it did help. I understand it's too early for all that. Yeah. But is it ever?
Again, I'll just let them lose and I'll let the chips fall where they may.
That's fine.
That's a lot more important to me. Is just them losing and continuing to kind of wallow in this dark pit that every other franchise has had to deal with. And I think it's fair enough that it's finally their turn.
Yeah, it's a good run.
And according to the Sac Chat here, Bay Area people are going crazy.
I can only imagine.
Yeah. Martin's saying they want Draymond and Kerr out for a bag of Doritos.
I saw that Warriors fans are also saying if the Kings, whatever, Warriors lose, they want Mike Brown back. Let's not forget, Mike Brown did coach on that run when Steve Kerr was out with the back.
Yeah.
Would you hypothetically right now, just nothing, no money, nothing, straight trade Steve Kerr for Mike Brown?
No.
Okay. Just checking.
Turn your mic off.
No. I just wanted to check.
No. Get out of here.
No.
Temperature.
No. Ask us again.
There's not really anything Steve Kerr would specifically bring.
Ask what?
Ask the question again.
They have Kenny Atkinson too. They're good on. I mean, if they let go of Kerr, they already have like a ready-made, highly touted NBA coach on the sideline there. You're not a Kenny Atkinson guy?
No, I'm just saying. I think it's harder. Sometimes the fill-ins are.
Oh, Kenny's been there for a while though.
No, I know.
Yeah,
I know. I don't know what they're gonna do.
Would you guys straight trade Steve Kerr for Mike Brown right now?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Don't ask again.
No, I would not. I would not.
Let's get to this Jake Fisher article. And Jake Fisher, this is the first piece we have. And obviously this came out yesterday. And we had on Sean Woodley from Locked On Raptors, who is obviously closer to the Raptors specifically. And Jake Fisher had to say, executives surrounding Siakam's potential landing spots have now centered on Indiana Sacramento and Detroit, which is incredibly
one
bizarre.
of those is not like the other.
Yeah. It's like that. Have you seen that meme where it's the guys in the military and they're all hiding behind a wall?
Oh yeah, and then there's
a
with
clown.
It's like, yeah, we're all loading up for war, and then the
clown.
Pistons are like,
yeah, us too.
I don't
Let's
know.
go to battle.
I mean, if you're in Detroit, I guess you have to say, hey, we're trying out here. We're trying.
I
but
guess.
What in the war? I don't even know what Detroit would attempt to. Cade, are you going to give Pascal, just going to let him wallow in Detroit, and you give him Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey? What do you even get
I guess
there?
it would be Jaden Ivey, Isaiah Stewart, I guess Wiseman, and a pick.
Bagley.
A protected pick, I guess. I mean, maybe, Detroit's in that rare. I don't think this year they have their second round pick, but with being the worst team in the league, people kind of hold those second rounders a little bit higher because it's like having a first round talent, but with a second round payout. So, maybe that's something like that.
How about this? You just said Masai Ujiri and the Basketball Beyond Borders and this great story for Pascal.
Yeah.
In his heart of hearts, as much as he's a businessman, he knows he can't send Pascal to Detroit.
Yeah, no. Yeah, he's like,
he likes him too much.
Look, I'm not saying that's not a good deal, Detroit, but I can't do my man like that. I just can't. He never did wrong by me. I can't in good consciousness just send him to basketball hell.
I can't do it. That. I'm sorry. I
actually like him, so I can't.
I cannot do it. So there's that piece. We kind of spoke about where Sacramento would land, and Sean Woodley of the Locked On Raptors said, hey, he feels like, honestly, Sabonis and Pascal would be a little bit redundant. We've heard that before.
Yeah.
We've heard that before with two other players.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he also said that I don't see – the more important piece is I don't see this getting done. And, again, the Kings have been calling to gauge the value of Harrison Barnes and Kevin Huerter. That's also according to Jake Fisher. You have Sean Woodley saying that's not enough for Pascal. And we already knew it. We already knew it wasn't whatever picks. He's saying Keegan Murray. And I said, Sean, I will hang up on you because we're not allowed to do that. So you're not going to remove Keegan for a guy that, although Pascal is obviously very good, is not really helping the need per se. We agreed that OG would have been the guy.
Yeah.
And that price tag would have probably been a little bit high.
Yeah, it would have been way, way too high. And I mean, people, even if, I think about it all the time too. The Raptors didn't get a single pick back from the Knicks. They were not looking for future assets, which is what the Kings can really best offer in terms of trades or in terms of draft picks. If the Raptors, like Sean did say, if they feel like we're not trying to rebuild here, we don't want to suck. We just want to put good pieces around Scotty Barnes first and foremost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Harrison Barnes just doesn't do. I mean, I would push back a little bit. I would say Kevin Huerter actually would be a really good piece for that Raptors team. I think he makes a little bit more sense. He is 6'6", 6'7", and he is a shooter, which they really don't have any pure shooters on that team. But yeah, I mean, Harrison Barnes, like Sean said, they have Thaddeus Young. They've got Garrett Temple, who the Kings have had before. He's he's vice president of the Players Association. He's the ultimate. Probably, I mean, I love Garrett Temple, great guy. He's really only in the league to be a veteran leader.
He's a Haslam.
Exactly. He's big Haslam energy. They don't really have a use for Harrison Barnes in that sense. So
no.
You're just kind of trading for Harrison Barnes, the player.
Exactly. Got to get to a break. We will read the excerpt from the Jake Fisher article when we get back. We will also get to you, Steven. See you on the line. Sounds like Steven has a trade proposal, firing up the trade machine on a Friday. Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
The handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10, 5, touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sactown Sports.
It's a new year, and Good Guys Heating and Cooling has a new heating and air special. It's a 2023 equipment blowout with prices on complete heat and air systems starting at just $8,995. If you have a high quote from another company, call the Good Guys for a free second opinion on repairs and replacement. Don't trust the other guys until you've called the Good Guys. Save 30% on the cost of your home's heating and cooling with proper attic insulation. For a no-cost estimate, call 530-GOOD-AIR or check them out online at goodguysheatingcooling.com. Best service, best price, guarantee. And that's no bull. License number 1057-618. You own a truck because you want to get the job done right. Truck Smart is your work truck headquarters. For over 35 years, they've been outfitting trucks for leading construction firms, service providers, and municipalities in the region. Truck racks, toolboxes, lighting, commercial shells, rhino lining, they've got it all. And their expert installers will get it done right the first time. So visit the truck experts at Truck Smart today with locations in Rockland and Auburn. They'll make your truck your favorite tool. Trucksmart.com.
Hey everybody, it's Kyle Draper, your boy Drapes for Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. Now, if you've been on the fence about buying your first electric luxury car, it's time to get off the fence and go see my friends at Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. I'm challenging you. Test drive any Mercedes-Benz fully electric car or SUV and you will fall in love. In fact, my new Mercedes-Benz EQS SUV is out in the parking lot right now. You know, I had a Tesla before this, but once I got the Mercedes-Benz EQS SUV, it felt like a brand new driving experience. It's on an entirely different level. Now, here's what I love about my EQS SUV. First of all, from the moment I sit in it, I feel like I'm stepping in a world of luxury. Plus, it's easy charging, and it has heated seats and cooling seats as well. It's an ultimate driving experience. I urge you, go see my friends at Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. They're just 30 minutes from Sacramento. They're right off of I-5. Or, of course, you can always go online at mbfstockton.com.
Sactown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports. Breaking news. Breaking news. We have a trade. We have a trade.
Let's go, baby.
When it breaks,
We have it first.
it's Sactown Sports breaking news.
The San Francisco Giants and the Seattle Mariners are in agreement on a trade that will send former Cy Young winner Robbie Ray to the Giants for outfielder Mitch Haniger and right-hander Anthony DeSclafani. Sources tell Jeff Passan and ESPN. Not the trade you thought it was going to be, but it's a trade nonetheless. You have Robbie Ray, former Cy Young winner, and you have Mitch Haniger, who the Giants got from the Mariners, going back to Seattle. It seems like that's the only team they do any business with. And Robbie Ray got Tommy John and is expected, he missed the remainder of the 2023 season. That was in May. And he is expected to miss part of the 2024 season.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Passan tweet underneath the breaking news, and he says Robbie Ray is coming off Tommy John surgery and is owed $73 million over the last 3 years of his contract. Though he has an opt-out after the 24 season, he's expected to return after the All-Star break.
After the All-Star break?
All-Star break is what Passan is putting out there now. Yep. It says he's expected to return after insanity. The All-Star break.
I mean, I guess the argument is you didn't have...
Please, yeah, tell me what the argument is here.
The argument is that Mitch Haniger couldn't stay on the field either,
I guess.
Right? And DeSclafani
add some arms.
Down season. Let's both teams are basically gambling. Let's see if something works out. But yeah, that's something else. And I guess breaking can be relatively speaking, but Passan does have here breaking.
Yeah.
The Giants and the Mariners are in agreement former Cy Young winner.
We won't play that if it were like February or something. We wouldn't play that. That'd be a little disingenuous to the NBA crowd. But
No.
That'd be
We're
scary.
putting that sounder away until the Kings do something. If the Kings actually do something, let's see what Steven has to say regarding whether or not the Kings will do something, and if he has something for us. 916-339-1140. All guests and callers join us from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. What's up, Steven? What you got for us? Better be good.
I hope so, man. I hope so. I hope you guys are enjoying your Friday. Happy Friday to you, boys.
Same to you.
So you're very welcome. All right, so here it is. Straight up, no holds barred. Steve Kerr for Mike Brown.
Oh,
Straight up.
No. Bye, Steven.
Nate.
I did not.
Don't put,
I had nothing to do with
one
that.
of our favorites,
I had
Nate.
absolutely nothing to do with that.
How much did you pay him?
Nothing to do with that. He said I have a trade. He betrayed me. He betrayed my trust, Steven. I had
goodbye.
nothing. I had absolutely nothing to do with that on my life.
Steven's in timeout.
Wow. I mean, besides taking the call, him saying I have a trade, that was not me.
Next time, say, does it involve coaches?
Okay. See, I didn't have that preface beforehand. I wasn't trained for that.
Bye, Steven. Now, Steven, you're in timeout now.
I know, poor Steven.
He hung up immediately.
Poor Steven doesn't even know
I went
why.
to drop him. He hung up.
Really?
Steven,
Yes.
We'll hear from you
Steven.
maybe Tuesday. You're in the penalty
man.
box.
Poor form.
Wow.
He's getting me in trouble.
Yeah, that's not what you want.
No.
That's not what you want. Let's get back on track
Please.
here. And now he's on the text line. Had to do it, boys.
Oh,
Goodbye,
did you
Steven.
have to?
You didn't, though.
Have to.
Goodbye,
Steven's going to get me
Steven.
written
Have
up.
to.
Yeah, no,
Come
that's on
on.
you, Nate. You started this.
That is my fault.
Yep.
That's my fault.
All right, let's get back to this Jake Fisher article.
Yeah.
And I'm going to read here the excerpt that talks about what the Kings could, maybe would, and should do. This is the quote from the article. The Kings have been calling opposing front offices to gauge the value of packaging Harrison Barnes and Kevin Huerter, league sources told Yahoo Sports. Not exactly the youthful tandem that came back from New York, and Sacramento won't consider moving sophomore sharpshooter Keegan Murray. They will not consider. He is untouchable, according to Jake Fisher. We've heard that before as well. Sources said. But Sacramento has third-year guard Davion Mitchell available for trade, and the Kings hold future picks beyond this year's first-rounder owed to Atlanta to help facilitate any deal before next month's deadline. Huerter, it should be noted, was recently moved to Mike Brown's bench in exchange for Chris Duarte.
Interesting. And I mean, yeah, even Jake Fisher continues to write, the thing that's going to make a Siakam deal difficult to make with Indiana or even, I think even Detroit, I can't confirm what Detroit's thoughts are, but I would think is you have to have a guarantee beyond this year. Like he's going to opt out of he's not, OG was the opt-out one. Pascal's contract is just up at the end of the year, unrestricted free agent. It's not even like you have the right to match or anything like that. You're essentially, and that's where it's scary to even give up real assets because you don't want to give up somebody for a half season. You don't want to give up some piece of your core for a half season rental, even if it is a piece like Kevin Huerter. It's like, well, that's a piece that the Kings still could use in the future. Kevin Huerter still got 2 years left on his contract, still has shown the ability to be a dynamite shooter. You're just going to give it up for a half season rental of something where it could only lead to maybe a second round appearance, a second round exit. Like, I don't know if the juice is worth the squeeze on that if you can't guarantee he's going to come back. So I don't know. Especially after talking to Sean, maybe it's just that he feels that way and made a good convincing argument. But I don't feel like, and it's weird that Jake Fisher's article was written this morning. It to me doesn't feel like it makes sense to trade Siakam right now.
And there's all this talk about the timelines and how they're not adding up. And it's okay. So Siakam is 29. It's not like he's 32, 33.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe the timelines don't line up that much, but it's a less ridiculous timeline than the Warriors with guys in their 30s and guys that can't even drink yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Especially if Scotty Barnes is taking this massive leap. Like
I don't see him leaving.
It doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make it make sense. Like how are they going to get somebody in return who makes more sense for them than Pascal Siakam does long term? Like even the other name that's included in there, Indiana, what can they offer? Because you know what? Look, Tyrese Halliburton, they're just going to laugh you off the phone.
Right.
After that, who's
Buddy?
really
You want a Buddy?
Buddy, I looked at Buddy's box scores the other day. That man's coming off the bench these days, getting less than 20 minutes. He's getting the Kevin Huerter treatment in Indiana right now.
He was cooking in the in-season.
He was.
Though.
He sure was. He sure was. And so were the Lakers. And you see where both of those situations are at these days. I don't know. To me, it does feel like Toronto is just, I don't know what the leverage is, but it does feel like they're using this to just kind of tell Pascal, like, you are expendable to a certain extent. And we kind of did gauge your interest of the markets and it's there, but I don't think anyone really wants to pay you a ton of money right now. And, I think it just makes a whole lot more sense, especially in an Eastern Conference, to see, can that Toronto team kind of slide into the play-in and, I don't know, gain some experience or get something out of this year?
Yeah, we're going to preview the Kings Raptors after the next break. Yeah, the Raptors are 14-20.
Yeah.
Okay, and in the East,
they're 12th right now in the East.
They're 12th. How far back from the play-in?
They are one game back in the loss column to Atlanta, who is 14-19. They're the 10 seed.
Ooh.
Brooklyn's the 9 seed at 15-20. So they're if the Raptors win tonight, they're in the play-in. Like I don't, that to me does not sound like a team that should be looking to make that big of a move.
Not if your expectation, not if you know you're not going to win, not if you know you're not going to win the championship this season anyway, and not if you don't know that you're going to get something back that's really going to put you in a great spot.
I think the time to move Pascal was last year when someone could have said he's got another year after this one on his contract. Okay, maybe we're willing to give up a first-round pick and a young player. Right now, you're probably you're going to get either or. You're either going to get a young piece that someone's hesitant to move on from. And look, I mean, as we're talking about the Warriors pieces, yeah, Kings would love them, but those pieces do make a lot more sense in Toronto, like in terms of, okay, if we are going to move on for Pascal, maybe a Kuminga's somebody who really does fit the mold of what the Raptors look for.
That's interesting.
Moses Moody, like those are young pieces that you can convince yourself. You talk about the timeline conversation. Those are 21, 22-year-old dudes who are fitting right in with Scotty Barnes, who's also 21. That's like something that makes a lot more sense. And the Warriors are also a team that, as we know, are getting pretty desperate around this time. So,
they're getting desperate. They'd also need.
You also got a Draymond contract you can maybe throw in there. Work a 3-team or just 3-team deal it. If you just need to get to, I think Pascal makes somewhere near 30. I mean, you could put Draymond up at his $25 million salary and find him somewhere else. Well, that could be where Detroit comes in. Honestly, that's his hometown.
Come on,
Michigan State. I mean, he
did talk about playing.
Come on,
in Detroit before it was all said and done.
You heard it here first.
I didn't. That's one way to say Adam Silver have Draymond. You have to repent for your sins in Detroit.
Yeah, Pascal can't go over there. Like we said, we like Pascal.
Right, we like Pascal.
We're not doing that. Okay,
he deserves
Draymond.
Yes,
you deserve that situation, buddy. And you know what? You know what's great? They got 3 wins right now. So if they win 6, Draymond can take some credit for it.
Yeah.
He can say, I thought I was such a locker room cancer, but I come to this Detroit situation and all of a sudden, they're better than they've been all year.
It could be a great redemption for Draymond.
Yeah. It can't get worse.
He's got what?
He's not going to make the situation worse.
3 more deals or 3 more years.
3 more years, yeah. After this one,
Get to the play in your last year, win a play-in game, jump on the scorer's table like Patrick Beverley and just ride off into
It's a very Pistons move too, right? Like they have a history of, they signed Josh Smith after he was on the Hawks to a huge deal. They had Blake Griffin in his post-Clipper days. It's a very Detroit move. And again, he is a Michigan man. He went to Michigan State. I think he's I don't know if he's born in Detroit, but I mean, that's where he would consider home.
Spot.
And if he's ever going to chill out, I think it would be in a situation like that. And you can't forget, I mean, the dude who was the Draymond of the 90s, if you will, Dennis Rodman, his career ended a little funny. He had his time, but then he, hops around to the San Antonios, the Dallas, the LAs. And it's sometimes, with the greats like that, the third role player on those teams, like those can be the guys that are the first ones to go or the ones that hop around at the end.
Rasheed Wallace even said this on a podcast. This is back in early December that the 2004 Pistons are to blame for how Draymond plays because he grew up watching them. He grew up around them. So you never know.
Makes a lot of sense.
You never know. All right, got to get to a break. When we get back, we preview the Raptors, the new look Raptors, and their, I guess, try to rise to redemption themselves and get back into the playoff picture. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
And a handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10-5. Touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sactown Sports.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. That's 2,000 children every single day. It's a heart-wrenching reality that we can no longer ignore. Find the Children is a non-profit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted vehicle, running or not. Call 1-800-775-5622. We guarantee that you will receive the maximum tax deduction. We provide fast, free pickup with 24-hour response. Call 1-800-775-5622. Find the Children provides crucial resources to help find missing children and educational materials to teach kids how to recognize and avoid predators. Our recovery programs have a proven track record of reuniting kids with their families. It's time to act. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Help us build a world where every child is safe. Pick up the phone and call 1-800-775-5622. Together, we can bring these kids home safely. This advertisement was paid for by Cars R Us and Find the Children.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
When you're rolling Charmin, don't you stop on the party. This is more, so roll it back, everybody. Charmin's irresistible. Soft and heavy nice. The grip is always soft. It's our party vibe. It's cushion and things so our cheeks feel flat. So what? Everybody wanna touch the sky.
Charmin Ultra Soft is irresistibly soft and more absorbent, so you can use less. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
We're for Washington. We love Febrez's new scent. Refresh and energize.
So much we made a song about it.
I can't escape this feeling inside. Refresh and energize. It's a mood. It's a vibe. Breathing for the first time. So free, so alive. Breathe happy, free. Smells like paradise. Breathe happy,
Guys, want to lose weight, improve your performance, and increase your drive? Revive Men's Health can help you make it happen with our new cutting-edge weight loss medications like your favorite athletes and celebrities use. They're affordable and available now. And since your testosterone level has a direct impact on your weight and fitness, get a free T-check and free exam. Book your appointment today at Revive Sacramento. We know we can help you. Call 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
So here's a fact. 85% of the population will suffer from foot pain in their lifetime. That's almost everyone. So you'd think there'd be plenty of healthy long-term remedies, but there just aren't, right? Hi, I'm Dan from the Good Feet store. People come in all the time sharing the same frustrating story. Bought this, tried that, been there, done whatever, all different kinds of things, but all with a similar result. Nothing. A discouraging and endless cycle of disappointment. If this rings a bell, don't despair. There is hope. If you think you've tried everything, you probably haven't tried Good Feet arch supports from the Good Feet store. They're designed to relieve, even eliminate, the pain commonly caused by certain foot conditions like plantar fasciitis, bunions, flat feet, and others. Plus, provide better balance and increased comfort. See what we can do for you with a free arch support fitting. Just stop in or schedule an appointment. With over 200 stores, there's likely one in your neck of the woods. Find yours at goodfeet.com.
Knee, foot, or back pain? Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your flagship station for the Beam team.
Can we light the beam? Light the beam, baby.
Sactown Sports. Sactown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. Seeing a little bit of this back and forth about the Robbie Ray deal. I think Giants fans are fairly excited about it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit not as negative as I thought.
Is that more telling of the state of the Giants?
That's true, but also I guess at the same time, the fact that you are getting a Cy Young winner, and in this day and age, not that it's even the same sport, but in this day and age, Tommy John isn't what it used to be.
Sure, yeah.
So if you can, for two guys again, you're ready to move on from DeSclafani, and Mitch Haniger couldn't stay on the field anyway. Just send him back to Seattle. I don't know if it's breaking because it is a former Cy Young winner, but yeah, I guess it's fairly low risk, possible high reward.
Right.
So,
but it's also, again, he's not getting in until after the All-Star break.
That's
so it's like
still insane to
kind
me.
of need. And like, I mean, I think you're supposed to be the baseball expert here. And I think you asked me the other day, have I missed it, or have the Giants just not, like, they haven't done anything, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I mean, it's just interesting that this is really the biggest profile move that they've made this offseason.
They got the outfielder,
of course, right? The outfielder, right?
Robbie Ray now. So it's better. I guess it's better than it's a consolation prize.
Sure.
Right. That's what it is. And if you're a Giants fan, you get Young Hoo Lee, and you add him, who is baller in the KBO, and now you go out and get Robbie Ray, who signed, I'm looking here, a 5-year. He has an opt-out in, so he has an opt-out, I believe, on Spotrac. He has an opt-out at the end of 2025. So you'd have him, actually, no.
Pass 2024.
24.
Yeah.
So you made this move, and you're just hoping that he comes back. And honestly, I think what it is, if I'm trying to read Farhan's mind, it's you're not coming back until possibly after the All-Star break.
Right.
You're probably not gonna. Your market isn't going to be crazy, so there's a good chance that you don't opt out.
Right.
You know
yes,
what I mean?
Sense, right.
And you'll
stick it out for a little bit further.
Exactly.
Since you didn't get like a full run.
Exactly.
Right.
So but he could say, what if he balls out? What if he balls out and somebody wants to throw him the bag? I think that the timing of it, so this is more of a long-term move. So we'll see what happens with the Giants as we get back to Kings talk and their battle tonight with the Toronto Raptors, a new look Toronto Raptors. Toronto Raptors, as you said, they are 12th in the East. They are 14-20. And really, when we do these breakdowns, we'll look at offensive efficiency or offensive rating, defensive rating, and net rating. There's really no point to do that today because it's a new team.
Right.
It's a new team with new players. Dennis Schroeder, he's coming off the bench. You have, obviously, Emmanuel Quickly, who they're going to try to make, I guess the term, their franchise point guard, see what he can do there. And then you have, obviously, RJ Barrett, who, what was interesting about when we spoke with Sean Woodley, you can catch that on the Sactown Sports app. You can catch that on SactownSports.com, or you can rewind there on the YouTube as well. I thought it was interesting that Sean Woodley was not as excited, was more excited for Emmanuel Quickley than he was for RJ Barrett. That was one of the most interesting things I thought from the interview.
Yeah, I mean, I know that Toronto's excited in the sense of, like Sean said, like he is a local Toronto guy, and he's the hometown. He's one of the best Canadian talents there is in the NBA, and for him to play for the hometown team is just a cool opportunity. But I mean, yeah, RJ Barrett's been a little bit disappointing in his NBA career. I think from all that I gathered after listening to the post-mortem of the trade from the Knicks side, the big thing with RJ was really kind of similar to, I guess you can maybe equate it to a Kevin Huerter problem, where they got to the point where Brunson was clearly the number one, Julius Randle was the number two, and RJ Barrett was kind of just asked to be that guy to stand in the corner and hit threes. The problem was he wouldn't hit those threes at a high enough clip for the open shots. And, they just kind of needed more out of him. And I think he's just better off having the ball in his hand more in Toronto if that opportunity presents itself. I just think he's not really a shooter. He's not a knockdown shooter like I think he was kind of projected to be when he came out. And I just feel like he's a lot more of a point forward, and I don't know if he's going to get that
too, though.
Yeah,
he can create, though.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. He's a point. I would say he's more of a point forward, ball in his hands, run the offense through him. But I would even argue in Toronto, I think Scotty Barnes is going to have that role first and foremost. Quickly's nice, though. That's the thing, is Emmanuel Quickley is a bucket. He's a dude who's more than capable of putting up 20 a night, especially in today's NBA. And I think he's a guy who, yesterday I talked a little about Malik Monk, but like that's a guy who if he goes to another situation, he's going to be one of the best players on the team. Like we would say Malik Monk is probably our second or third best player on the team this season. Similar story with Emmanuel Quickley, where just because he was coming off the bench, he was still the Knicks' third best player. And if you put him in a situation where he's going to start, he's probably going to be the Raptors' second best player this year.
Yeah. And, you have an East. The East is, would you call the East I guess it's really top heavy. Would that be the East, right?
Yeah, definitely. With Milwaukee, Sixers, and Boston definitely being that A tier, it's kind of everybody else after that. I mean, you have the Cavs, you have the Knicks,
I'm looking here. Celtics, Bucks, Sixers, and then basically everybody else.
It's really everybody else. And that's where the Knicks are going to try and get into. I think with, everybody kind of saying that the OG trade was the trade before the actual trade they want to make. To me, that's the Knicks are maybe the next team that can, I guess if there's four, it's not as much top heavy as it is just good. Like if that makes sense. Like, so I wonder how much the East will kind of level out as the deadline approaches, and who knows? I mean, Donovan Mitchell might be a piece that falls out, and maybe that kind of re-top heavies it because that makes Cleveland fall out.
To the Knicks?
Could be anywhere. Could be Knicks are definitely the most likely suspect. It sounds like all the reporting is Donovan Mitchell really only wants to play for the Knicks. So
how can you
be the most likely spot? Kind of Carmelo situation 2.0 though.
I don't see Donovan Mitchell and Jalen Brunson playing together.
I don't either. I definitely don't either, but I don't see Donovan Mitchell playing well with anybody. So he's guard Julius Randle.
Yeah,
he's just gonna.
But then you can have them all on the same team.
No, totally. It'll be fun.
All you're missing, all you're missing is D'Lo.
Yeah, I'm sure he's on the way. Don't you worry. D'Lo will find himself in a big market.
Yeah, so you have the Raptors at 12, the Bulls at 11, the Hawks at 10, the Nets at 9. And there was a report on the Hawks as well, and the report was that the only two players not in trade talks for the Hawks was Trae Young and Jalen Johnson, right? And Jalen Johnson, we saw up close and personal. Yeah. He was coming off injury when he faced the Kings, and he was balling.
Athlete.
Right? That dude can do some things.
Yeah.
And you know what? As Trae Young has said, a lot of people, this was the off season of Trae Young's underrated. Trae Young's this, Trae Young's that. Do you think there's any part of the Hawks that feel like they can't move Trae Young because of that trade with Luka? I mean, if you actually look at it, if they wanted to start fresh, do you feel like they really believe that Trae Young is untouchable, or do you feel like we kind of can't move Trae Young yet. Not because he's not a good player, but we have to give this a real go.
Yeah, I think it's that. I think that they feel like Trae is. I mean, they made the Eastern Conference Finals with Trae Young as their best player. Like, I mean, whether or not they deserve to be there or not is a different conversation. But I think they think that, you know, Trae Young is as close to Steph Curry as you're going to get, I guess, in a post-Steph era, if there is one around the corner. And I think their hope is that Trae can be a version of what Steph was, but definitely, obviously, not Steph. No one can be Steph, but if he can kind of be a 1B on a finals team, I think that's ultimately what they're hoping for. Because, I mean, Trae still does put up ridiculous numbers. Like, the dude is about as close as you're going to get to somebody averaging 30 and 10 in a season, but he definitely has his liabilities. And also, it's like, if you're going to move on from Trae Young, what are you really hoping to get? Because he is kind of that guy who puts up crazy numbers, and so you feel like he's got a certain value, but, you know, at the end of the day, is he truly one of those? Is he a guy who can be a 1B on a championship team? I don't know. I kind of view him and Cat in that same category of, okay, you're definitely really, like, you're not some scrub or some just a guy. You're definitely somebody who has a definite value, but I think beauty's in the eye of the beholder with those two guys.
Yeah, that's fair enough. When we bring up the Atlanta Hawks, Scooter 916 on the Sack Chat says, great, bring back Bogey, bring back Bogdanovic.
Yes, love it.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Not a bad idea. Yeah. If everybody is available, you know, the Capellas of the world, I don't think I mean, for maybe for McGee.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if he's
I'll take him over McGee, but I think they're going to want more back.
Yeah. And also, like, Atlanta's in a weird spot where it's like, I wouldn't know what to give them. Like, they could maybe use a Harrison Barnes. Like, that's maybe a spot where they can use some tightening up,
but that's what's weird to me.
Give him Kevin Huerter back.
Give him Red Velvet. Come on home.
You can remove the protection on the pick and just say, here's
swap.
Just take our first round pick. Forget the top 10 protected or whatever it is.
Bogdanovic for Kevin Huerter.
There's something there.
Bing, bam, boom. That's what's weird about this report coming out about the Hawks and everybody being available besides Trae and Jalen Johnson. Trae's 25. I mean, he's young, but you're just going to get a bunch of draft picks.
Yeah,
and
I
then
don't know.
Try to be good when Trae's 30.
Yeah, and I mean, they're not doing well this season, right? I mean, I think I listed them as the 10 seed right now. So, I mean, it's not like they're trending towards anything special. I mean, they're kind of in this no man's land, and they just brought in Quinn Snyder halfway through last year to be different, and that hasn't worked out. I think it definitely gave them a boost last year, but it hasn't seemed like Quinn Snyder is really, or that team has taken to Quinn Snyder, because I do think Quinn Snyder's a really good coach. I would put more of the blame on the personnel, and I don't know what's going on with DeJounte Murray right now, but he's the hottest name, I think, from Atlanta right now. But yeah, it's a weird situation for sure. I wouldn't know what to give them. I would,
they don't know what they want.
That's the thing, is like, because they do have a lot of really, especially from the Kings perspective. We talk about teams that have tons of forwards. You got AJ Griffin, a dude who was drafted a couple of years ago out of Duke. You got Sadiq Bey, who's somebody who the Kings liked when he was in Detroit, and you know, he's a scorer, he's a wing, he's an okay kind of rotation piece. Who else? They've got somebody else too. That's not RJ Hunter, DeAndre Hunter as well. So they have a ton of forwards that I think the Kings could really use, and I agree with the text line too. I think Bogey would be a great piece for the Kings. I mean, when we talk about a guy who can have the ball in their hand, but at the same time shoot the ball, like he could. We saw it in Sacramento. He's got some playmaking capabilities. He could definitely average. I could see him averaging like 5 or 6 assists in this system, and you know, maybe you could, not that I think it would be for the better, but you could also get Malik off the ball a little bit more, and you know, use him a little bit more creatively off the ball. I think that makes a lot of sense.
You could take a couple chances there, because the way I see it is, you know, with Bogdanovic, if you're going down this path, you do have to take a look at Sasha.
Yeah, sure.
He'd have to be in one of these deals, here, because you have a EuroLeague MVP,
and you're just not playing him.
You're just not playing him right now. So we're got to get to a break. When we get back, we will continue the conversation. Can the Kings keep on rolling? How does this report from Jake Fisher that the Kings have been calling opposing front offices to gauge the value of Harrison Barnes and Kevin Huerter in a package? How does this affect the game tonight? How does it affect rotations? And how does it affect the locker room? Not at all. We'll talk about it. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Can the Niners build off their NFC Championship appearance from last season? How will the quarterbacks perform throughout the year?
Purdy back, now going to throw for the end zone, wide open, Brandon Ayuk is on fire!
Will the defense lead this squad again?
Intercepted! Ball got tipped up and taken by Fred Warner!
Get all your 49er coverage throughout the NFL season on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Don't miss out on limited time appliance deals during the closeout event at Lowe's. Get up to 35% off select major appliances. Plus, save an extra $100 when you spend $999 or more on all major appliances. Hurry, these deals are too good to last long. Shop in-store or online today because Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid 1/4 through 1/24. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See Lowe's.com for details.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. Reminder, the 49ers and Rams game this Sunday will be airing on KNCI HD2, starting with the pregame at 12:25 and kickoff at 1:25, because the Kings will be beating the Pelicans on the Sactown Sports airways. I'm just going to keep saying that until Chris Watkins believes it.
We'll see. I mean, like, it's a fool me once, fool me twice, fool me 3 times. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to get fooled a 4th time. So I'll believe it when I see it. I'll just believe it when I see it.
Fool me can't get fooled again.
Can't get fooled again. Absolutely.
That's fair enough. From the Sac Chat, kind of a good point, and we would have to look up the other EuroLeague MVPs from Crown Royal. EuroLeague has an MVP every single year. How many of them are NBA players?
There's a good handful of them. I mean, here I can pull it up. I mean, we did this all throughout the off season when talking about Sasha. I mean, it was a logical question for sure, but there's a lot of guys, even Nemanja Bjelica, a guy who, the Kings had and won a championship with the Warriors as well. Like he spent some time. Definitely it's not super common for these guys to become, mega ultra stars or anything like that in the NBA.
Right. Good rotation pieces.
Yeah, it's just about finding a role, finding a niche. And I think it's Sasha is also still in his first year. He's in his first, 3 months of playing NBA basketball. Give the dude some time. As we go through, here we go. I have a list in front of me here.
He's 28, by the way.
He's 28. So you have Milos Theodosic, who had a cup of coffee in the NBA. He was a backup point guard for the Clippers. You have Andre Karolinko, won EuroLeague MVP in 2011-2012, which I think was like after his NBA career. Sergio Rodriguez is somebody who's had a cup of tea. 2014-2015, Nemanja Bjelica won MVP. Nando De Colo, somebody who had a cup of coffee. Luka won EuroLeague MVP, obviously. Nikola Mirotic was really the one that everyone was pointing to when it came to Sasha. I think that's really the role and the kind of, I don't want to say ceiling, but like the tier of player I think we see as Sasha's ceiling there. And Nikola Mirotic, don't get it twisted, was a really good player. I mean, he was a starter for those Chicago Bulls teams and a 6th man after that for some really good Bulls teams. So I'm not giving up hope on Sasha.
When did Luka win? Was he 16?
He was, yeah. He was 17 when he won EuroLeague MVP. So another reason why I was not too happy when the Kings passed on him.
Yeah, well, you got to let it go.
Do I? Do we actually have to? Because I've thought about it a lot, and my life would have been a whole lot different if everybody's life would have been a whole lot different if the Kings drafted Luka. I mean, I think about it in terms of also like if the Kings moved, it's kind of the similar breath where, if the Kings move, you and I aren't sitting here right now today. The team doesn't exist. There's no reason for Sacramento to have local radio. We probably are. You're probably still in Alameda, and I'm working for the state or something like that. If the Kings draft Luka Doncic, like there's probably a couple Western Conference playoff appearances that we've been through. Who knows, if Stiles and Watkins now becomes a much bigger show because the Kings are playing so well. And who knows, maybe, Frankie Cardicelli gets signed by ESPN because they need to sign more Kings writers because they had none before. You see what happens with the Warriors. That's why I can't let it go because it doesn't just mean the basketball stuff, which we're still very much in the process of figuring out what we really missed out on.
But Chris, look what it is now. The Kings are still in a great position. Okay. You got De'Aaron Fox. You got Sabonis. Yeah. Right. I mean, teams miss all the time.
Coming from a guy who 4 titles in 7 years, 8 years, right? It's different. We're the little guy.
Yeah. You don't have many opportunities to get a generational talent. You don't have those opportunities. Don't come every 3 years. But it comes once in my lifetime. Mine. I'm thinking about myself selfishly. I am around Luka's age. He could have been the best player on my local team for my entire life.
Okay, but here's a question. It eventually does come back around. And I know they haven't won anything yet, but you can't feel this. You can feel this way, but think about the T-Wolves who drafted 2 guards before Steph Curry.
Right, and you just brought it up, 15 years later? Yeah, you don't get over those things.
No. But what I'm saying is
full circle.
Now they're the 1 seed.
15 years later, Alan.
And it's the first third of the season.
But that's my point. Look at the Kings.
They haven't done anything.
But look at the Kings.
They've been notoriously the worst.
Oh,
that's true. They got the 8th seed.
The Kings have powered through, and they're still in a good position. They're still in a good position.
We're gonna have to agree to disagree.
And Luka hasn't won anything yet.
Sure.
And he might have with the. Chris didn't even say he'd win anything with the Kings. He's like a couple Western Conference Finals, which would have been literally life-changing.
I guess the reason this is kind of surprising to me is only because the Kings don't stink. If the Kings stunk,
they stunk.
They
did stink. Last year was the first year they didn't stink.
And it sucked.
But look, I'm just saying.
And even now, people are saying there's a ceiling.
They don't still stink.
You didn't experience the city and like the population here when they were horrible.
Yeah. The Marvin Bagley stuff was also really tough.
There's a lot more positivity now with the beam. The whole city didn't buy in to the Kings before this.
Yeah.
Right? The whole city's in now. You look at the Holiday Inn across the street, they got to light the beam banner.
Yeah.
You got every building, every like liquor stores lit in purple. It's there's beam drinks all over the city.
No, but that's my whole point. But that's my whole point. Now, the way you're reacting now, that's why I'm surprised because hey, you missed on Luka. All right.
But I mean, if it's good now, how good could it have been right now?
I guess.
Especially when we talk about like all of this stuff
the beam goes
Beam
higher.
Probably never existed.
Beam probably doesn't exist because the Kings win in those years.
So you're finally happy, Alan.
Yeah. No, I don't know what it is with you today, Nate, but we're not cool. It's beef on a Friday.
I love it.
No, you don't love it, Chris.
From you and Kevin O'Connor. I was hoping to get this from you and KOC today.
We got to get to a break.
Bert O'Connor on.
We got to get to a break. When we get back, Jake Fisher was on the drive, guys. So we have that audio. That was yesterday. And Sam Amick was on the morning show. So we will have that audio for you, and we will react to all that. At 1 o'clock, we are talking Pro Bowl for the Niners and who got snubbed. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sactown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sactown Sports app.
Big savings are back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? We have options for everyone. Plus, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make for lower payments. It's no wonder Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not.
Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
PGA professionals are ready to help you get rid of your banana balls and duck hooks. Hagen Oaks Indoor-Outdoor Player Performance Studio fittings are available 7 days a week. Make yours today by calling 916-808-2531. That's 808-2531.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
Got a handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10-5. Touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sactown Sports.
Carmichael Dave here for Jiffy Lube, your proud sponsor of the Drive of the Game. Now listen to every Kings game for Gary Gerald's Drive of the Game call. Then listen to Jason and myself the next morning for a chance to win a $100 Jiffy Lube certificate, courtesy of all the Jiffy Lube locations in the greater Sacramento area. Get your vehicle ready for the holiday driving season at Jiffy Lube today. Oil changes, wiper blades, tire rotations, and more. For more information, go to jiffylube.com.
Are you tired of your tee shots ending up in the adjoining fairway while the rest of your foursome is hitting it down the middle? Well, experts will tell you that being properly fitted for golf clubs will help you strike your drive center cut. The Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio and its team of trained PGA professionals are ready to help you get rid of your banana balls and duck hooks. Hagen Oaks Indoor-Outdoor Player Performance Studio fittings are available 7 days a week. Make yours today by calling 916-808-2531. That's 808-2531.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
The Arnold Law Firm has seen how an injury can turn anyone's life upside down. Whether it's a slip and fall, a car accident, or any other kind of injury. For almost 50 years, the Arnold Law Firm has been here to help you through the entire process to protect you and your family. If you are ever injured or in an accident, call the Arnold Law Firm. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777. That's 916-777-7777.
Sacramento's premier music festival, Country in the Park, is back. 2 big ol' nights, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Walker Hayes, and more. 2-day GA tickets are on sale now, starting at $85, or upgrade your experience with VIP or pit passes. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPfest.com. Brought to you by Bonnie Plumbing, Electric Heating and Air.
The first time I tried to quit vaping, I told myself that it was like a mountain that I had to climb over. And once I got to the other side, it would be clear. But I couldn't make it over. What really got me to quit was my little sister. I saw her vaping. So I was back in the mountain, but this time she was up there with me. It's weird what you can do for others that you won't do for yourself.
Every attempt is part of your story to quit for good. Visit Kick It California today at kickitca.org.
This is Jeff Scott. Did you know there's a way to outsmart COVID if you get it? Now, there are medicines that can treat COVID whether or not you've been vaccinated, which is great news, especially if you're over 50. If taken in the first 5 days of having symptoms, COVID medicines can help stop the illness from getting serious. Call a healthcare provider or the statewide COVID hotline at 833-422-4255 to learn more about COVID medicines. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
Sactown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. Getting into some of the guests that we had on these here airwaves and what they had to say about some of the trade talks. Not to just do too much of the trade talks, but ultimately the game is tonight. We believe the Kings will continue to keep it rolling. We have our dog segment at 1:30 as we discuss what they're going to do. I think the Kings are going to come out and, really try to solidify what they did last game and continue their growth. This is also a game that I could see them losing because we had the conversation yesterday about whether or not they turned a corner, and this is the type of game where they'll drop and then they'll win on Sunday and get that first win against the Pelicans. So, Chris, you are the one who talked me into it yesterday on yesterday's show as far as, hey, this is a small stretch to where, what are they? They've won three of their last four.
Yeah, technically.
And you can get to.
You can also say they've lost 3 of their last 6, but
we'll
I like to say win 3 of your last 4.
And you can keep it rolling here and get to 4 of your last 5 and really get that momentum. The run, we were doing the comparisons with the round table, doing the comparisons with the drive guys as well. And the run was pretty soon here. Then January was a good month for the Kings last season, as Kyle Draper said, that he went through and saw, okay, when did the guys get rolling here? So this is the time. This is the time. I know the Raptors have won a couple games, but they're still in the midst of trying to figure out who their new identity is. And net ratings and offensive ratings and defensive ratings don't matter because they are a different team now.
Right. No, but I mean, Mike Brown, the Kings are actually in I wouldn't say a perfect spot, but I guess better than the first 2 opponents that got to play Toronto, because at least there is some sort of film on them that you can maybe look at in terms of what they're doing. I mean, the first opponent obviously has nothing to go off of. The second opponent, has the first game to go off of, but they're still probably implementing a lot of new stuff. After 2 games, you've probably seen a good bit of what they can install in the time that they've had. So you have the best picture of what this team can be in terms of the Raptors, that is. And so in a weird way, if the Kings did their work, which I know they always have one assistant coach assigned to each game to kind of be the head of scouting for. So as long as the coaches did their jobs, they should have a good idea, or at least somewhat of an idea, as good of an idea as you can have at this point, of what the Raptors are trying to bring in. I mean, we know it's going to be a lot of Pascal. We know it's going to be probably a lot of Emmanuel Quickly. And then you can't forget about Scotty Barnes, who, Sean was on earlier and he was raving about, and I've heard it not just from Sean, but from really all around the league. Everyone's been talking about how Scotty Barnes has just really taken a similar leap to De'Aaron from behind the arc. And that's scary. That's really scary for a guy like Scotty. So it's the Raptors got some players for sure.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how the Kings kind of match it though, because they are the better team. The Kings are.
Right. And I'm very excited to see Scotty Barnes and really that leap. A lot of people have been comparing his leap to hopefully what will happen with Keegan and his 3rd year leap.
Right.
And hopefully you get a Kings win, but excited to see what these guys bring to the table. The 49ers and Rams game this Sunday will be airing on KNCI HD2 starting with the pregame at 12:25 and kickoff at 1:25 because your Sacramento Kings will, and I say will, be beating the Sacramento Pelicans, the New Orleans Pelicans this Sunday. Let's get to the sound from Sam Amick, who joined our guys in the morning show, and him talking about basically what the feeling is around the league with what the Kings are going to do.
I mean, around the league, it does feel like people are wondering, what the Kings will do, not if they will do something. But we've kind of already attacked this thing from every angle. Just no news obviously is broken. I don't know in terms of the bigger stuff, the bigger names that we've talked about. Other than the draft picks, I've been having people ask me around the league, like, who are they willing to give up on their roster? There's nobody that really moves the needle that they are willing to give up on this roster. There's just not. I don't think Barnes moved the needle. I don't think Kevin Huerter moves the needle, or Davion Mitchell. And really, as you know, it's kind of a Sabonis Fox, and Keegan Murray and everybody else should look over their shoulder a little bit.
Interesting.
That was our guy Sam Amick from The Athletic, and joined us as all guests and callers do on the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Yeah, it's the same stalemate.
Yeah, exactly.
That they've been in this whole time. Yeah. And I was excited when I saw the OG move. I'm excited to see all this stuff come out. It feels like this is going to be a really exciting trade deadline. But how many times do we get duped into this and then nothing really happens?
Right.
A couple pieces, but no blockbuster deals. I mean, OG could end up being the biggest deal. I don't know what the Knicks have, what else they have up their sleeve. So I just think the Kings are a bit stuck because you're not going to sell your future even with picks, right? And you just have two guys in Kevin Huerter and Harrison Barnes that don't really excite anyone enough to bring somebody in that would excite the Kings.
Right, which is what leads me to believe, and it's what I've been hoping for this whole time, that if Sam is saying this around the league, it sounds like the Kings are incredibly active and are just throwing out those two guys. Sounds to me like the Kings are more so probably going to get to the understanding that this is going to be a fringe move. Like, it's not going to be a Pascal. It's not going to be some Zach. I mean, who knows? I think Jake Fisher in some audio we're going to play also does mention something about Zach LaVine in the Kings' interest. But to me, if they're going to continue to just throw old reliable out there and just say Harrison Barnes, Kevin Huerter, and that's it. Maybe you can get Davion Mitchell if you're throwing in a second player or something. I just don't think you're going to get anything besides maybe a fringe starter, but it's more than likely just going to be a rotation piece, which I don't think is bad. Like, I think some of the Kings rotation pieces, like a Kevin Huerter, like a Harrison Barnes, and like a Davion Mitchell, and you can really throw any of the other rotation guys who aren't Trey Lyles or Malik, like they've disappointed. And so I think if you're just saying, hey, let's just try and see what this thing looks like with different role players in these spots, I think that to me seems like this, A, the safest thing to do, and B, it's kind of looking like it's going to be your best option.
Well, and you discuss these Eastern Conference teams that many Sacramento Kings fans don't get to watch as much. These games are earlier. You just got life going on. The Kings are playing
We're about
too.
to experience it next week. It's like all 4 o'clock starts next week.
I'm weirdly excited for that as well. But, going back to our guy, Brendan Nunez, Sactown Sports Kings Insider, and the article that he dropped last week. If you haven't seen it yet, if you haven't read it yet, go check it out. It's great stuff. And you talk about the potential trades. The one that's sticking out to me, another guy that maybe people don't get to watch as much, is Dorian Finney-Smith.
Yeah.
Because that's if you're stuck here and you have Harrison Barnes, Davion Mitchell, the Sacramento's 2026 first round, which is top 4 protected, and Portland's 2025 second round, Dorian Finney-Smith is a guy who, he's shooting 44.8% from 3 on 5.5 attempts per game.
That's incredible.
But he's basically a 3-and-D guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Defense, and he's been on
focused.
Good teams too. He's been on that Mavericks team that went to the Western Conference Finals.
So that's a name to where if you are wondering, hey guys, we keep hearing the same name, you keep hearing Pascal, you keep hearing Zach LaVine, you check out this article, some of the deeper dives into the names that might make more sense, because we all know as they gauge interest right now, the Kings do, apparently that broke today from Jake Fisher of Yahoo Sports, as they gauge that interest, it's not going to be it doesn't feel like it's going to be. They're going to have to dig deeper if you want a Zach LaVine or if you want a Pascal Siakam. If they don't, you could get somebody in Dorian Finney-Smith who, this is Brendan's words here in the article, could be Sacramento's equivalent of Aaron Gordon in Denver. So that's something to really look at. We'll get to the Jake Fisher audio when we get back. More to talk about, more trade talk, more Kings talk. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Harrison Barnes plays here.
Harrison Barnes drives it, hammers it. The Black Falcon soaring into the night sky on a Monday evening in Northern California.
Sactown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings. News.
The new year is upon us with promises of new beginnings and new adventures, but don't let 2023 slip away without savoring the memories of all you enjoyed with family and friends. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. Of course, looking forward with anticipation is exciting, but I have a lot to appreciate in this past year, and much of that revolves around time with family and more good times spent around my Naturewood dining table. Watching my grandson get messy with his birthday cake is priceless, and it reminds me that new life is the perfect balance between yesterday and today. Greet the new year with a visit to Naturewood Home Furnishings. See all the fine furniture and accessories on sale with Naturewood's New Year sale. Find that perfect piece of furniture that's new today and filled with memories for tomorrow. The memories you make with your family will be with you forever. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
The world has changed a lot these last few years. You can do pretty much anything from your home, including order your new Honda from Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Check out our great selection at StocktonHonda.com or come in today and get pre-approved all in the blink of an eye. Stockton Honda makes buying a car simple and stress-free.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
So here's a fact. 85% of the population will suffer from foot pain in their lifetime. That's almost everyone. So you'd think there'd be plenty of healthy long-term remedies, but there just aren't, right? Hi, I'm Dan from the Good Feet store. You know, people come in all the time sharing the same frustrating story. Bought this, tried that, been there, done whatever, all different kinds of things, but all with a similar result. Nothing. A discouraging and endless cycle of disappointment. If this rings a bell, don't despair. There is hope. If you think you've tried everything, you probably haven't tried Good Feet arch supports from the Good Feet store. They're designed to relieve, even eliminate, the pain commonly caused by certain foot conditions like plantar fasciitis, bunions, flat feet, and others. Plus, provide better balance and increased comfort. See what we can do for you with a free arch support fitting. Just stop in or schedule an appointment. With over 200 stores, there's likely one in your neck of the woods. Find yours at goodfeet.com.
Knee, foot, or back pain? Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
Over the years, some of golf's best stories were about the legendary Ben Hogan. Tommy Bolt once said that Hogan was the only player he'd ever known to get an ovation on the practice tee. He said he saw Hogan playing practice rounds before a tournament where half the gallery was made up of other professionals. When Bolt was asked who was better, Jack Nicklaus or Ben Hogan, Bolt replied, "Well, I saw Nicklaus watch Hogan practice, but I never saw Hogan watch Nicklaus." That's a pretty definite answer. Hogan described the game of golf as a game of misses. He said, "The player who misses best is the one who's going to win." He believed that the first hole was the most important, saying, "Well, if you don't birdie the first hole, how can you expect to birdie them all?" Ben Hogan knew the value of positive thinking on the golf course. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Guys, want to lose weight, improve your performance, and increase your drive? Revive Men's Health Sacramento can help you address the root causes of weight gain, low energy, poor drive, and performance issues. And since your testosterone level has a direct impact on your weight and fitness, we'll give you a free T-check and free exam at Revive Sacramento. Imagine upping your game, losing weight, and getting in shape all at once. Revive can help you make it happen with our new cutting-edge weight loss medications, like your favorite athletes and celebrities use. They're affordable and available now. Weight gain and low T are treatable conditions. We know we can help you. Take that first step and book today. You're only one step away from getting in the best shape of your life. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Kevin Lewis of National Garage Door. Whether you need to repair a broken spring, install a new opener, or buy a quality Rainer door, National Garage Door is here for you. Call us today to see how we can transform your house with a new garage door.
638-4554 National Garage.
Sactown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, the bad boys of the midday. I haven't said that in a while. Taking you up to 2 p.m. Nate Littlefield doing a great job for us behind the glass on this Feel Good Friday. I think we feel good. We're feeling good about the Kings taking on the Raptors from the 666. Had on Sean Woodley, Locked On Raptors, to talk about the plan in Toronto. And Sean is very happy with how the Raptors have looked in their first couple games with the new look of RJ Barrett and especially Emmanuel Quickley. So this is an opportunity for us out here on the West Coast to see what these guys from Toronto have to offer. Let's continue the conversation about the trade talk. So busy week for Jake Fisher because he goes on the Drive Guys, and then this article drops
this morning.
Yeah. So Jake Fisher. So only here, Sactown Sports, you're getting the exclusive before. Remember back in the day, before Spotify, before Apple Music, your friends that went on the websites and they had the music first.
Yes.
Right? Hey, hand me the aux cord because I got something you
Shout
haven't heard before.
HotNewHipHop.com.
That is us.
DatPiff.
All of them. Hot New Hip Hop. That was my jam.
That was a time.
By the way, that is. I had good music all day. That was another one. So that is what Sactown Sports is. We're getting you stuff before it drops. So let's hear from Jake Fisher and how aggressive he feels that the Kings are going to be.
Yeah, they were described to me as one of the team's most aggressive and active in trying to get OG Anunoby. I think Indiana was the proverbial number 2 that finished behind New York, and Sacramento, I think, was right there. I think there's still a team that's being considered for Pascal Siakam right now. The Levine stuff, to me, I'm crediting that more to Monte McNair being someone who's come from the Daryl Morey tree in Houston, where anytime a star player becomes available, you make the call and you poke your head in and kind of keep yourself at least involved, thinking, what opportunity might present itself? How can we even get involved in something on the margins if it becomes a 2 or 3 team deal? And I think that's a situation that Levine and his representation in Clutch Sports looked at and circled and liked because, they have a pretty good situation there with De'Aaron Fox already running the show. So I think that was more of an exploratory thing than anything else, but they do seem to be pretty attached to names of front court players, guys who would in theory fill Harrison Barnes' spot, the Pascals, the OGs. I don't really see kind of other players like that right now on the board, but one to keep an eye on could be someone like Jeremy Grant in Portland.
Yes.
There's a lot there.
And I just want to talk about the end. It all comes back to Jeremy Grant.
Do I have to do
Yes, you do.
Okay, well then
because I like Jeremy Grant.
Oh my gosh, I don't even have. All I have to type in is GER and Jeremy Grant contract pops up on my Google search. 5 years, $160 million for Jeremy Grant.
How much would you pay for a parade?
That is not getting me a parade.
You don't know that.
I do know that. I do know that Jeremy Grant is not the move that's going to make the Sacramento Kings an NBA title winner.
I like him, man.
Okay, that's fine. You can like him. You don't have to like him for $30+ million per year.
Yeah,
like that. That's ridiculous. And especially when you're talking about would you rather have Jeremy Grant or Kyle Kuzma?
Well, the fact that it's a question means to go with Kyle Kuzma.
Right. Well, what if I told you Kyle Kuzma is going to make at his peak $8 million less than Jeremy Grant?
We'll go with Kyle Kuzma.
Yeah, exactly. It's just Jeremy Grant makes no sense at all. I have no idea what Portland. I guess Portland was still in the mindset of trying to keep Dame happy and maybe saying hey Dame, if you change your mind and want to stay, we do have a couple NBA guys, not just your Shaedon Sharps and Anthony Simon. I just mean young guys.
You have what you sound like right now. No, you know what you sound like right now. Hey, Mom, I want McDonald's. We have McDonald's at home. McDonald's is Giannis. We have McDonald's at home. That's Jeremy Grant.
I guess. Yeah. I didn't hear me say that, but I guess if that's what you heard. I just don't like. I think Jeremy Grant's a cool player. I think he's a role player. Mm-hmm. I don't think he's a star. And if you're paying a dude $30 million a year, he better be doing some star stuff,
Yeah. All right. Let's hear from our guy, friend of the show, or soon to be friend of the show, Kevin O'Connor. And you found this basically
He just dropped this.
Yeah. So what is he kind of getting into here?
So this is finally, he does talk about Sabonis a little bit. We cut that out because honestly, all that matters is the trade stuff at this point. He does give Sabonis he gives him credit for his offense and then completely discredits his defense. But we cut all that out. And this is Kevin O'Connor talking about the Kings fit with Pascal, them being in on OG, and then what Kevin kind of thinks of how far the Kings are from finally being in true championship contention.
If like you're the Kings and if you're able to turn Harrison Barnes into Pascal Siakam, that doesn't necessarily make you the favorite. But if you're getting a guy who over his last 5 games is averaging 30 plus points on absurd efficiency and who over his last 25, 30 games is averaging like 25 points and dominating ever since his slow start, Siakam is a major player. Shams reported last month that they had interest in OG Anunoby and Pascal Siakam. My understanding is their OG interest wasn't much more than just like calls. I think their interest is actually in Siakam. That's when they'll put draft picks on the table. That's when there'd actually be real interest in making a competitive offer, which they didn't to compete with the Knicks. They are a move or two away from being in the conversation. So why would you not try to go for it before Denver gets even better with their youth, before Oklahoma City cashes in on those picks? You got to go for it.
That is the argument. And, a lot of people yesterday on our SAC chat was saying, hey, don't let Draper come on these airwaves and you guys just let Draper say whatever he wants and just agree. And it's not that we disagreed because
I would never.
Just
agree.
We never just agree. We understand what he is saying as far as the Kings are better.
Yeah.
I think that is more of, I don't want to speak for you, but my take on that is, the Kings can get better, but other teams are continuing to get better too.
Right.
You could argue
Just
a higher
getting
clip.
Better too doesn't mean you're where you need to be.
You can't sit there and just say, okay, we just got to get a little bit better every year. If other teams are taking
It's a 10-year build.
Right, that's a 10-year build, and that's basically a 10-year build to just hang out in the playoffs and to be a playoff team, but to not be a championship team. So that has always been, I think, our argument or the argument against. And it's not even just Draper. It's when we talk to Brendan and Frankie, maybe that's not so bad. A lot of times they'll say to not make a hasty move.
Sure.
That's the balance. You don't want to make a hasty move. But the rest of the Western Conference, and dare I say the league, is moving at light speed here.
I understand that. I would still push back, and I'm definitely still more on the conservative side than the aggressive side of this. As I've said, I don't think the big move is the one to make right now. I just think that the fear or the risk, if you will, of going in and just saying, oh my gosh, these other teams might leapfrog us is, the funny thing is Kevin O'Connor literally started that clip by saying, is this making you the championship favorite? No.
Right.
But it makes you more fun and closer. But that's it. I don't know. It is, you could argue maybe it's the worst of would you rather be a team that always gets eliminated in the first round or a team that, gets eliminated in the third round, but still doesn't have that championship capability? I don't know. And we none of us know. And that's the risk of doing this. But I don't know. I feel like I don't want to be the team that does the thing that the Timberwolves did last year or that the Cavs did trying to go all in on Donovan Mitchell. You can't just give up all your assets in the hope of trying to leapfrog people and get in front of line and hope that you're the next one up. I think you have to try and build something that's going to be here for 4 or 5 years. It can't just be, we're going to try and win a title in the next 2 years. And then after that, we're kind of screwed. We went all in for these next 2 years. To me, it's a lot better for this Kings team that has De'Aaron, who's 25, 26 years old, Sabonis in that same age range. Makes a lot more sense for those guys to be entering the championship window when they're 28, when De'Aaron's 28, when Sabonis is pushing 30. To me, that makes a lot more sense in terms of when those guys' careers are probably more ready to win. And then that gives Keegan Murray a couple more years to develop and figure things out as well.
Really, it just comes down to, for me, are you trying to make moves or how long do you want to be in a position where it's, hey, we're putting ourselves in the position of we have a chance to win and could win it all.
Yeah.
Maybe not likely, but could win it all versus, hey, we've put ourselves into a position to where we should win it all.
Yeah.
Right. And if you try to get to that should too soon, you could blow everything up. That's the one side of it. Or you could get stuck in the could when the could is a lowercase c and there's not really a good chance. So I don't have the right answer. Right. I don't have the right answer. I know who I wouldn't move. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's that could versus should. And if you get stuck in the middle, then again, you can use any example you want for a lot of playoff teams who just never really scared anybody.
Sure.
And you don't want to be there. I think the best argument for this is Kevin O'Connor thinks it's time to make that move now. It might just not be time to make that move now.
Yeah, right.
That's really it. It's not about never making the move.
And that's it right there to me. It's why does it have to be right? Like why make the move for the sake of making a move? Make a move. And Sean, again, great guest, man. Sean said so much in that interview. Definitely go check it out. But I thought he was right in saying, like I don't know. I don't know if the Kings are really a Pascal Siakam away either. Like I don't know. I kind of lost my train of thought there.
No,
I don't know. I feel like we're just talking in circles about not us, but I just feel like the conversation just keeps going in circles of, okay, yeah, you could hop on now, but there's also the future, and can you give up on Keegan Murray? I mean, yeah, and the frustrating thing is I don't think there is like you said, none of us have the answers. I don't think there is a right answer. It's more just, are you willing to take the risk? And, I think the thing for me is the reason why you don't make the trade now is because there's just going to be better fits down the line. And I don't think that the Kings should try and bring in a guy just because there's a window open and there's people available. To me, like OG makes a lot more sense for this roster than Pascal does. Wait for the next OG to become available. Don't just hop on Pascal because he's the next name up.
Yeah. And, I think that we've kind of read from what we've read and from what we've heard, the Kings did a bit of a deeper dive. They were trying for OG. So do you want this consolation prize that might not fit as well? Obviously, he's a baller. It's not about Pascal Siakam not being a baller. It's about fit, and it's about what that price tag is going to be.
Also, how about this? I want to get your thoughts on this. How weird is it that we just played two sounds of audio a day apart, and two guys who are really invested and in on news breaking and in with league sources? You got Jake Fisher saying the Kings were really close to getting OG, and then you have Kevin O'Connor saying, my understanding is the Kings weren't close. It was just due diligence, really, and they just made calls.
Yeah.
I mean, how much of that is also telling of nobody knows anything?
Which is good.
Even the people who claim to know things clearly have completely different sourcing on something that's already happened. And so how much information, how much of this is just agents, how much of this is actually even true is another factor of this. Like, we don't know if Pascal Siakam, like we were talking about earlier, is he really even available, or is this all part of some big leverage thing for Toronto? I don't know, because again, if you have two huge outlets or two huge major players in this thing reporting two completely opposite things, and I'm not saying they're making it up, I'm just saying I think that tells you that it kind of depends on who you ask within the organization for, what they'll tell you in terms of who's available, who's not, and how close deals are to getting done.
Yeah, got to get to a break. When we get back, a little bit of Niners talk. We'll talk about the Pro Bowl. We'll talk about who got snubbed. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco!
It's all on his shoulders. Cox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. That's 2,000 children every single day. It's a heart-wrenching reality that we can no longer ignore. Find the Children is a non-profit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted vehicle, running or not. Call 1-800-775-5622. We guarantee that you will receive the maximum tax deduction. We provide fast, free pickup with 24-hour response. Call 1-800-775-5622. Find the Children provides crucial resources to help find missing children and educational materials to teach kids how to recognize and avoid predators. Our recovery programs have a proven track record of reuniting kids with their families. It's time to act. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Help us build a world where every child is safe. Pick up the phone and call 1-800-775-5622. Together, we can bring these kids home safely. This advertisement was paid for by Cars R Us and Find the Children.
Paid for by government.com.
The 1878 to 1921 Morgan Silver Dollar, a true American classic and one of the most iconic silver dollar coins in history. It's been 100 years since the last Morgan Silver Dollar coin was struck for circulation. And now, for a limited time only, full pound bags of original U.S. government struck Morgan dollars are being released to the public. That's right, you can own a full pound of 1878 to 1921 classic American Morgan Silver Dollar coins, all in very good collector condition with fully visible dates and mint marks, guaranteed. Call 1-800-473-0864 now to secure collector-grade U.S. Morgan Silver Dollars by the pound, struck during the Wild West and the Gilded Age. Plus, receive a bonus American Collector's Pack valued at over $25, free with every order. Call 1-800-473-0864 now to secure your full pound bag of Morgan Silver Dollar coins before they are gone. 1-800-473-0864. That's 1-800-473-0864.
Winter is coming. I know you know that, but are you prepared to keep your family warm all season long? At American Energy Heating and Air, their goal is to exceed your expectations of the heating and air industry by valuing the customer experience and making your home comfort system as efficient as possible for the most value. So book your $49 furnace tune-up and safety inspection today. Prevent dangerous gas leaks. Extend the life of that furnace and save on your energy bills. And here's the guarantee. This isn't a sales call. They're not getting in the door so they can try to sell you a bunch of stuff. No, they're just going to do what they say they're going to do. Call today to schedule an appointment at 916-520-9990 or go to AmericanEnergyAir.com. Been serving the greater Sacramento area since 1981. A-plus Better Business Bureau rating. Get your $49 furnace tune-up and safety inspection today. 916-520-9990. American Energy, making the uncomfortable comfortable.
Awesome. Hey, babe, can you check the front door? My package is here.
Yeah, on it. Hey, are we still watching our show tonight?
New episode on Prime? You bet. That reminds me, let's hit Whole Foods this afternoon. We need snack supplies.
From package deliveries to entertainment and even fresh groceries, Amazon is in front of hundreds of thousands of customers every single day. Imagine what you could do if your business had that kind of reach. It's not a dream. Right now, you can take advantage of Amazon's expansive network to benefit your business. Unlock expert insights and tap into the full potential of Amazon. Simply text DIGITAL to 916-766-5105 now. Make the smart move. Text DIGITAL to 916-766-5105. Put the power of Amazon to work for you. Text DIGITAL, that's DIGITAL, to 916-766-5105.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios. KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. Sacramento's official home for the San Francisco 49ers.
Touchdown! San Francisco!
Sactown Sports. Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m., taking a little break from the Kings as we talk some Niners and the Pro Bowl. Our guy, Sactown Sports 49ers insider Emil Fregoso, has an article about the 3 biggest snubs for the Niners, which I guess we have to talk about snubs, which is hard when a team has 9 Pro Bowlers.
9.
Count them, 9. So here they are. Nick Bosa, Javon Hargrave, Kyle Juszczyk, George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey, Brock Purdy, riding dirty with Purdy, Charvarius Ward, Fred Warner, Trent Williams. There you go. But it's not enough.
No,
it's not enough.
Never
So
I'm stoked for Brock. First one since 03, I think. Jeff
02.
Garcia.
Yeah, 02.
So
Jeff
that's great.
Garcia.
I think people may think like, oh, Kaepernick might have snuck one in there. No, he was not doing that.
No, he didn't. And you have from the article with Emil Fergoso, our Sactown Sports 49ers insider. He says Mitch Wishnowsky, punter, was snubbed.
Okay.
Dre Greenlaw, linebacker, snubbed. And you have Brandon Ayuk, wide receiver, that was snubbed. So Brandon Ayuk, to me, the most interesting one. So we pulled some numbers on Brandon Ayuk. What's up, Nate?
I'm sorry. I didn't have my show this week.
Yeah, Nate always. No, go ahead.
So I just want to
plug
say a
it
couple
quick.
things.
Whenever
Return
we
of the
talk
Empire.
Niners, hold on.
Sorry.
Whenever we talk Niners, Nate gets to turn on his microphone because he has a very hot Niners podcast here on the station, Return of the Empire, where he is with Emil Fergoso as well. So be sure to check that out. But Nate has, ever had a green light when you steal bases? I did before my Achilles. That's Nate. When we talk Niners, he's got a green light to hop in and be a part of the conversation. So what do you have to say?
Well, I'm also trying to save Chris too. So it's a 2-for-1 thing. But the Mitch Wishnowsky, I think he was number 1 in fan voting for punter, which is like, all right, whatever. That's fine. I don't care. That's whatever. Ayuk thing, okay. You guys were bringing us some stats before the show. It's like toss up. All right,
Right.
Puka or whatever. So I think Dre Greenlaw not getting in is pretty crazy. I think he deserves it. I think he's putting up the numbers that I know he's putting up very similar numbers to Fred. It's Willis and Bowman again with those two. So he's got to get in next year. I feel like he got snubbed the absolute hardest out of any of those three. If I had to pick one,
because I heard the most talk about Ayuk, and obviously everybody loves offense.
Receiver,
right?
yeah. And this is his
receiver.
best year, and second year going over 1,000. So that's fine. A bunch of deep catches and did it pretty consistently all year.
Yeah.
To Nate's point too of having Greenlaw as his biggest snub, I'm looking here at Emil's article as well. The other inside linebacker that was chosen, obviously Fred Warner was one of them. The other one, anybody? Any guesses? If you had to.
That was snubbed?
No, that was taken. The one that was taken,
right.
You could argue in place of Dre Greenlaw. It's also middle linebacker, I guess, for the outside linebackers. It was Daniil Hunter, Micah Parsons, and Hassan Reddick took up the outside linebacker spots. The inside linebacker spots,
I couldn't tell you.
Fred Warner and Bobby Wagner.
Oh, old man. Why is this the NBA when they bring in a veteran first?
Right.
Whoa,
Wow.
that makes it way worse.
Right.
That makes it way worse. I mean, he's had a good season,
but there's
this
no
is
way.
14th year?
Yeah, there's no way.
Is it a
Maybe
little
not
bit
14th,
of
11th?
right? Is it a little bit of grandfathered in? Is that what's going on here?
Ouch. Maybe the
Oh,
NFL's mad at Greenlaw.
Greenlaw missed a
Yeah,
couple games.
I thought
in the
about
middle of
that.
the year,
Sandro?
too.
I thought about that, Nate. Even though
Because he's always getting in trouble.
right, but could you really be mad at Greenlaw when Big Dom isn't on the sidelines anymore? So technically,
Well, Greenlaw
kind of
does more
admitting
than that.
defeat, yeah.
You see, they call him Draymond Greenlaw. Of course, you've called him that.
Yes.
I've seen the ugly Photoshop where they
They're
put
hilarious.
Draymond's head on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe because he's a little vicious sometimes. They don't need him playing flag football. Not that they're going to be playing flag football anyways, because I really
will
think they'll be in Vegas.
Right, exactly. That's the other thing, and
I
also
think,
Yeah,
like
so who cares?
it's also at
It's
some
just a
point
respect
like
thing.
Yeah.
that's how many freaking Niners like are they going to have all 22 out there? Like I mean,
If they deserve it,
it's crazy.
we're not into participation trophies,
You
Chris.
know, sometimes you got to just you got to give other teams
No.
some acknowledgement.
Do you remember that in Little League or don't they do that in Major League Baseball too? Everybody needs a representative from a team.
Yeah, for the All Stars.
I hate that.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
really
yeah.
whack.
I
Like the
hate
A's
that.
don't have an
Yeah,
All Star.
that's
They just
crazy.
don't.
I
I'm sorry.
hate that.
Yeah.
They do not have anyone.
That's gotta
impacted
go.
by
That's
it.
got to
the
feel
highest level.
bad as the guy who got picked for the A's this year. Was it
It was a pitcher, wasn't
It's
it?
got to be a pitcher.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Who was
Did
it?
so many A's games, but whatever. That is like gotta feel bad as the A's representative. You gotta be like, dude, they're just
Brent Rooker.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Oh,
Mhm.
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Brent Rooker.
Ew.
I mean, it doesn't
Poor
have
guy.
to be like this. You don't feel like you should be there. That's
No.
literally Little League. Literally.
yeah.
Wow.
The
Why do
funny
they
thing
do
is,
it
too,
for fans?
Do we care
guess.
about Pro Bowls? Like I've never understood. I've never like been super deep into the football legacy conversation like I am with basketball. Like, do people bring up Pro Bowls?
I think,
or is it
yeah,
more
they
like
do
all
at the
pros? Like, there's got to be some
All
other.
pros mean more though.
Oh yeah.
So
like Hufanga making all pro last year was insane. Like
Right.
that probably I don't want to diss on him at all, but that seemed like, hey, here's the hot young new guy, you know, that he's got that Palomalu look, trains with him. I think that factor, that X factor might play into the all pro thing of like how tantalizing you are. So
Well, I think the same with Pro Bowl though. I think it's all.
Yeah.
I think all pro is less of.
Really?
All pro,
I feel
you're
like
the
all
number
pro
one.
Should
though.
be. I feel like all pro should be the one. That
No.
people
I was
actually
going to say
care about.
is less of the popularity whole. You know, it's really based on you came in, you did your work.
Yeah, that's like
You
an
know,
AP voted. Thing.
Exactly. So shout out to all of the 9 Pro Bowlers. Here are some of the stats that we were going to get into with Brandon Ayuk. So Brandon Ayuk, to Nate's point about the deep yard receptions. So Brandon Ayuk is 30th in receptions.
Okay, that's
and 6th in yards.
Okay, yeah,
that's pretty crazy.
6th in yards definitely gives him, to me, the 30th in receptions is, I don't know. To me, that's not like a Pro Bowl number.
No, but that just tells me that deep throws, because how are you 6th in yards and you're 30th in receptions? So the two arguments, the guys that made it in instead of him, you know, AJ Brown, Puka, a couple of the guys weren't really questioned. CeeDee Lamb obviously was an obvious choice, but the questionable ones. So Mike Evans had the most touchdowns out of any receiver, but had less yards than Brandon Ayuk. So you have two there, and then you have Puka, who was lower on the touchdowns, but higher on the yards. So there was a lot of
Niners aren't getting 2 receivers. Like, they're just like, there's no way that the Niners 2 receivers are better than everybody else's best. Like, yeah, that's, again, like you got to let some other teams have some.
But they didn't get a receiver though.
Debo didn't get in.
No.
Oh, I thought Debo.
No, they got Christian McCaffrey. They got George Kittle. They didn't get a receiver.
About the Greenlaw thing, though, that point you just made, you can't get 2 receivers, even though they didn't. I mean, the 2 linebackers is like, so Emil just popped in here. Bobby Wagner had 48 more tackles than Dre Greenlaw.
Okay.
Before I got all emotional, I should have checked my stats. I think that is fair and warranted. That's a lot. That's a significant amount. So,
Sure.
I mean, that makes
So-
sense. And if they threw both the Niners linebackers in there, I don't know.
So nobody got snubbed from the Niners.
Well,
Wishnowsky.
Besides Wishnowsky.
yeah.
And then we're going to look up punter stats.
Yeah,
and
let's
say,
do it.
well,
Fan
actually-
voting is so silly. I
Yeah.
will say I think Brock was the highest fan voted player.
He was, yes.
I thought everybody hated Brock.
I thought it was Tua too, because Tua was getting an
Dude,
insane amount.
Brock will be so sick at flag football.
Well, he's not going to be playing because they're going to be in Vegas, and we're going to be in Vegas too.
We're gonna do it.
Got to get to a break. When we get back, we will revisit the preseason over-unders and what games actually mean something this weekend. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
The handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10-5. Touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football, Sactown Sports.
Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room with primetime football. It's back. Capital Casino is giving away $500 per game in high hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game. Offering the best food, best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region, and conveniently located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com, and please gamble responsibly. 1-800 gambler.
Big savings are back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? We have options for everyone. Plus, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make for lower payments. It's no wonder Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not.
Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda. Yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
The word on the street is that Puka Nacua was the guy who a lot of people thought Ayuk should be in instead of Puka, but there were 21, if you include alternates, 21 Niners Pro Bowl picks and Pro Bowl alternate picks. So hard to complain about anything. It's just people being bored until the playoffs start. Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody, oh, come on. Now.
How many people are even watching the Pro Bowl?
Nobody. Now, when it comes to incentives, if Brandon Ayuk has something in his contract about a Pro Bowl helping your incentives, then okay. But, I would say that it's just something to talk about as we wait for the Niners, not necessarily for Niners Rams, even though it will be fun to watch these guys do battle, whereas it will be Carson Wentz going up against Sam Darnold. What year?
My goodness.
What year is it?
Yeah.
But
that sounds like an old Pro Bowl right there.
Now I'm going to ask the question again. Is Niners just pizza? Is that good pizza on Sunday? Is that pizza? All pizza's good pizza? Rams, Niners? That good pizza? You watching?
I'm not in the all pizza's good pizza boat.
I'm not either.
I have friends that are.
In terms of actual pizza, I am. But in terms of it related to football.
Football is pizza.
Actual pizza, I'm not.
Football is pizza because that does not look like good
that.
pizza. That is soggy pizza.
It's interesting, just to see where those two guys are at this point in their career. But in terms of sorry, I can't hang out with my family because I really have to watch Carson Wentz versus Sam Darnold. Might be one of those where could build some goodwill with the family, and as football playoffs are around the corner as well. Maybe this is a good week to do some errands.
Yeah, you might want to run some errands. You know who's really going to be
and listen on the radio as well. Of course, you can listen to the Niners game.
And that will be on KNCI HD2 because the Kings are taking on the Pelicans. You know who's going to be watching the Niners this weekend? Nick Wright.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
Steve Ruiz.
Yeah.
Okay, just trying to see. Please, they're going to be begging. Please, Sam Darnold, ball out.
300 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Please ball out,
That's
Sam
all they're
Darnold.
hoping.
All the Brock Purdy haters will be watching to see how Sam Darnold does. So just a little fun exercise we wanted to go through here to kind of figure out what games matter and what games don't as we go through the over-unders at the beginning of the year and how close some of these teams are. So you have the Cardinals were at 4.5. Their record right now, 4. Who do they play this weekend?
Oh, that was a question. I was like, I thought,
I was
who do
following
we play?
it up.
I was
following it up.
They play the Seahawks this weekend.
Seahawks this weekend. So
Seahawks playing for their life too.
And that would have been an interesting one to bet on before the season because it's kind of like I think you would have hoped this would have been the best possible outcome for that bet is Kyler Murray play. Because there was reports that, who knows, Kyler Murray might not play at all this year, especially if they, weren't off to a good start.
I didn't think
it was
he was
like, what was going to be the point? So that was a really risky bet. And then you see Kyler return at the middle of the season. You're like, oh, we're cashing this thing in easy. And then it felt like they weren't because they had the Eagles and then the Seahawks to close the season with only 3 wins. So you're feeling bad, and then they get the win over the Seahawks, and it's like, or they get the win over the Eagles, and it's like, I guess this bet's back in play.
So 4.5, they're 4-12. Are
Crazy.
they getting it?
Yeah.
They're at home. Why not? They probably have more to play for than the Seahawks, right? Are the Seahawks Seahawks are trying to the Seahawks
But
trying to
I
make
think
it.
the
I don't
Cardinals
know,
have been playing
really
they've
good.
been playing what's it called when you mess someone up?
Spoiler.
Spoiler. Yeah, they've been playing spoiler to they kind of do it
Seahawks
to
are
the Eagles.
3-point favorites.
I don't know. I mean, I think
I don't think that's very much.
Yeah, the Cardinals have talent on their roster.
Here
and
it is.
Kyler Murray's been kind of a killer.
Here is the playoff scenario for the Seahawks. How the Seahawks clinch a playoff berth. Seattle win plus Green Bay loss or tie, or Seattle tie plus Green Bay loss plus Tampa Bay loss or tie, or Seattle tie plus Green Bay loss plus New Orleans loss or tie. So they have to, at best, they have to win and hope that Green Bay loses. So yeah,
Green
I don't
Bay's
think
got the Bears this week too.
that Bears team
are
is
playing
turned it around though.
7-9. Yeah, no, and Green Bay is so hit or miss. Like they're either pretty good or very bad.
I wonder about the Bears though, because as far as Justin Fields, who's been connected to the Raiders a lot, because it feels like there's a bit of a cycle with Justin Fields. He either gets hurt or doesn't play well to start the season, and then when nobody cares about the Bears, he balls out. And that's what scares me. We have not seen Justin Fields really play well when it mattered. That would scare me. A lot of people were saying, now what I've read
Scare you in sense of bringing him back, or scare you in the sense of how good he can be?
Well, what I've seen is bring Justin Fields in. This is what I've seen as far as the Raiders are concerned. Draft somebody and bring Justin Fields in because of that contract isn't that crazy. But yeah, I haven't really seen, and I was a big Justin Fields guy going into that draft. I have not seen Justin Fields do it when it actually mattered.
Bears are another one of those teams who's right on their over-under number as well. The preseason over-under for the Bears, 7.5. They're sitting at 7-9 right now after a great resurgence to their season. So the Bears, if you bet on the Bears preseason, you're rooting for them to beat the Packers.
What was Detroit's at?
Detroit
9.5?
was at 9.5, and they've already cleared. So
they've already cleared.
And Carolina nowhere close.
Carolina's nowhere close. Yeah, there are a couple teams who have already fell.
Falcons are done.
Carolina was at 7.5. They have 2 wins.
What was the Falcons? They're 6.5.
Falcons were at 8.5.
A lot of people were big on the Falcons.
And they have 7 wins.
They have
correct?
7 wins, so they're not going to reach that one. You have, let's see here, who
It
is
kinda all
close?
was on Ritter.
Seahawks. Funny enough, so that Seahawks Cardinals game is going to be someone's going to win their bet. Seahawks had 8.5 at the start of the year. They're 8-8, and then the Cardinals have 4 wins. Their preseason was 4.5.
Bills over under was 10.5. They're at 10-6.
Oh, and that's probably been the scariest bet all year, right? Like that one's been an emotional roller coaster of. Just it didn't look like it was going to happen, and now you got to feel good about it. And oh my gosh, that's another lesson here.
And then
somebody
the
take a
Bills,
lesson out of this. Eagles over under at the start of the year 11.5, sitting at 11-5 right now. That one also, you must have felt like they were 10-0. Were they 10-0 at one point?
Yeah.
and still haven't
Bills
cleared that.
at Dolphins to
That's
end the
nuts.
season too.
Maybe on the other side of this break, I found a
Jacksonville?
pretty awesome list by CBS of all the incentives, like major incentives
Yeah.
for players. We can maybe go over in the next.
Those are my favorite.
The first one is Baker Mayfield. He gets an extra $2 million if they make the playoffs this year. So there's a bunch like that.
Oh my god!
So keep an eye on
Definitely.
Wow,
those lines.
All right, let's get to a break. When we get back, more NFL talk, playoff scenarios, and incentives. And then after that, back to Kings, getting you ready for the Kings taking on the Toronto Raptors. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
And a handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10-5. Touchdown. CMC.
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sactown Sports.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by the Arnold Law Firm.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. Your Friday forecast looks mostly sunny, a pretty nice winter day shaking out. Highs will peak in the upper 50s to low 60s. Expect overnight lows in the low 40s. Rain returning by midday Saturday. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
The recent storm has caused dangerous driving conditions for us. The Arnold Law Firm has seen how a collision can turn anyone's life upside down. Be alert and stay safe. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777.
Strap in for some full-throttle fierceness. A new season of RuPaul's Drag Race on MTV is speeding your way, and Philo is the most affordable way to watch. We've got 70-plus channels of live and on-demand TV for just $25 a month. Get top channels like MTV, VH1, AMC, Discovery, Nickelodeon, and more, plus unlimited DVR so you can save all your faves. So get ready, set, slay, and watch the new season of RuPaul's Drag Race on MTV with Philo today. Visit philo.tv to get started. That's philo.tv.
Ew, gotta get rid of this old Backstreet Boys t-shirt.
Tell me why.
Because it stinks, boys.
Tell me why.
I've washed it so many times, but the odor won't come out.
Tell me why.
No, you tell me why I can't get rid of this odor.
Have you tried Downy Rinse and Refresh? It doesn't just cover up odors, it helps remove them.
Wow, it worked, guys.
Yeah.
Downy Rinse and Refresh removes more odor in one wash than the leading value detergent in 3 washes. Find it wherever you buy laundry products.
The PGA club fitters at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio know that golf should be fun. They also know that players of all abilities will hit the ball farther and straighter, play better golf, shoot lower scores, and have more fun if they get fitted before they purchase golf clubs. Hagen Oaks delivers the same technology and major brands used to fit PGA and LPGA professionals. See how the game can be even more fun. Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio fittings are available 7 days a week. Make yours today by calling 916-808-2531. That's 808-2531.
Sacramento's premier music festival, Country in the Park, is back. 2 big ol' nights, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Walker Hayes, and more. 2-day GA tickets are on sale now starting at $85, or upgrade your experience with VIP or pit passes. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPfest.com. Brought to you by Bonnie Plumbing, Electric Heating and Air.
So here's a fact. 85% of the population will suffer from foot pain in their lifetime. That's almost everyone. So you'd think there'd be plenty of healthy long-term remedies, but there just aren't, right? Hi, I'm Dan from the Good Feet store. You know, people come in all the time sharing the same frustrating story. Bought this, tried that, been there, done whatever, all different kinds of things, but all with a similar result. Nothing. A discouraging and endless cycle of disappointment. If this rings a bell, don't despair. There is hope. If you think you've tried everything, you probably haven't tried Good Feet arch supports from the Good Feet store. They're designed to relieve, even eliminate, the pain commonly caused by certain foot conditions like plantar fasciitis, bunions, flat feet, and others. Plus, provide better balance and increased comfort. See what we can do for you with a free arch support fitting. Just stop in or schedule an appointment. With over 200 stores, there's likely one in your neck of the woods. Find yours at goodfeet.com.
Knee, foot, or back pain? Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
There are many things to love about winter. Cozy sweaters, celebrations, and family time. But winter can also bring many stressors, extra expenses, seasonal bugs, and so much family time. If you and your loved ones are feeling stressed or anxious this winter, Cal Hope can help. Check out our free mental health resources at calhope.org today.
Kevin Lewis of National Garage Door. Whether you need to repair a broken spring, install a new opener, or buy a quality Rainer door, National Garage Door is here for you. Call us today to see how we can transform your house with a new garage door.
638-4554 National Garage Door.
Guys, want to lose weight, improve your performance, and increase your drive? Book your free T-check and free exam at Revive Men's Health Sacramento. Now also offering affordable, cutting-edge weight loss medications. Call 916-277-8599 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Sactown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. The 49ers and Rams game this Sunday will be airing on KNCI HD2, starting with the pregame at 12:25 and kickoff at 125. All guests and callers join us from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop, 916-339-1140. If you want to be a part of the conversation, this is from the 530, going back to the Kings. No trades. Develop our existing players. Alex Len, Sasha, Colby Jones. Continue to strengthen our bench and team chemistry. This is from Mary Francis, devoted Kings fan who believes in having a strong bench.
Okay.
Thank you, Mary Francis.
Wow, what a signature.
Yeah, thank you, Mary Francis. And look, Colby Jones, that's a name I haven't gotten down to Stockton yet.
Yeah.
But Brandon,
we gotta go down.
Frankie,
Yeah.
you saw Colby play as well.
Yeah.
I hear he cooks down there.
Yeah,
and I
it
was
was
looking
crazy.
up some of his stats yesterday. Homie is 6'6".
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, he's got some height to him for sure. Yeah. It's an intriguing piece that the Kings kind of stumbled upon there. And I think Colby's somebody who I could kind of hope we see him enter the rotation again. We saw him, weirdly enough, you wouldn't think you'd see your second round rookie early in the season and not in the middle, or I mean,
honestly, it's
still
been
to
a
see towards the end, but
topsy-turvy.
totally. I mean, yeah, and it's, I wouldn't say Colby's benching wasn't completely unjustified. He was. They were trying to play him at point guard when they were trying to figure out the Davion Keon thing, and he did lose the ball quite a bit when bringing the ball down the floor. So he just didn't really fit the role that the Kings needed at that moment in time. But I think that's a dude who, if maybe they do move Malik Monk to the starting lineup at some point, I could see him kind of stepping into the bench and being that backup guard. Definitely can't fill the shoes of Malik, but someone who's athletic, really mobile, can finish at the rim, good athlete. And if you look at his Stockton numbers, incredibly pesky, always has his hands in the passing lanes. I mean, he's got a couple Stockton games where he's got like upwards of 6 steals in those games. So he's someone who's really active defensively, and that's a nice starter point to have for a guy who's, again, second round pick as a rookie right now. I think there's something there that you can maybe find.
Don't let me forget to ask this and maybe not. I know you know the answer, but to ask the insiders as well, the Sactown Sports Kings insiders, the difference really between, because I'm looking at two guards, right, that are trying to be formed into more pure point guards. Colby Jones versus Keon Ellis. They seem on paper to be fairly similar. Feels like Colby Jones or Keon is more of a shooter than Colby, but Colby can create more than Keon. So could you see them going back and forth? Is Keon better on ball defending as well, even though Colby can get steals?
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think that it's going to be an interesting thing, because you correctly do point out that they kind of occupy the same space a bit. The funny thing is, though, I mean, I was watching them warm up really early. If you get there, right when doors open, sometimes you might catch the G League guys warming up, or the two-way guys as well. And you see Colby and Slauson with Keon and Jordan Ford as well. I would just say right now, in terms of their development, I mean, Keon's been in this system for 3 years right now. He looks like he's a little bit more NBA ready, but again, I think Colby's got more, like, where Colby's start point, I think, is further than what Keon's start point was. So if you were to say right here, right now, this season, who can probably impact winning more, I guess Keon. I would say Keon, but I think, maybe by the end of this year, or who knows, I mean, just give him one off season. I definitely think there's something there with Colby Jones, because his finishing is, I'm not going to say it's elite. That's probably too high, but he's definitely in the upper tier of finishing ability for a guard that I've seen. And again, that's just him coming into the league with just his natural strength. Like, as he spends an off season focusing more on his body, and, he's no longer the youngest guy in the league anymore. Right. There's a new crop of young guys that he can kind of, have more experience and more veteran than. I just think he's going to be somebody who's going to be in the Kings rotation.
You think Colby's ceiling is higher than Keon's?
Yeah, I think so. I really like Keon. I think Keon's a really solid role player. I think Colby, there's a world where, like, and this is like pie in the sky, best case, I could see a version of like a Dante DiVincenzo, a Josh Hart, like a discount Derek White, if you will. And maybe one day he can get to a Derek White level. I don't think anyone saw Derek White turning into Derek White, but he does have a lot of the similar skill set where it is just like a lot of hustle, but also there's a lot of skill and athleticism behind there as well.
There you go. All right, let's get back into some of the football talk. This is from the 916. Ask and you can receive, and you will receive from the 916. What are the NFL playoff situations and scenarios for both the Saints and the Steelers just to make it to the playoffs? We will let you know that right now. Let's start with the Saints. So you have the Saints. What's at stake? The Saints can clinch the NFC South title with New Orleans win plus a Tampa Bay loss or tie.
Okay.
Or New Orleans tie plus a Tampa Bay loss. How can the Saints clinch a playoff berth? New Orleans win plus Seattle loss or tie plus Green Bay loss or tie. Or New Orleans tie plus Seattle loss plus Green Bay loss. Am I reading this correctly? Does it sound like it's easier to win the NFC South than to get into the playoffs?
Well, yeah, but
because you just need Tampa to lose
get into the playoffs if they win the South, obviously.
So you could have someone else winning the South. Tampa Bay is probably going to. Tampa Bay's out Carolina.
Wins, yes.
Yeah. So basically, look at the other scenarios.
Yeah.
Right.
So
I see what you're saying. Yeah. So basically, to the 916,
it is harder
if you assume that Tampa Bay is going to beat the Panthers and David Tepper and hopefully wear goggles if you're sitting next to
drinks in Baker's eyes.
Yeah, the executive suite.
Put a lid on it.
New Orleans win plus a Seattle loss or tie plus a Green Bay loss or tie.
And then he said the Steelers as well. He was
the second one for New Orleans tie plus if they tie plus a Seattle loss plus a Green Bay loss. So you got to win. And you need the Seahawks to lose, and you need the Packers to lose as well. So not looking great for the Saints.
Yeah, and then I'm looking at the Steelers, who, by the way, just Mike Tomlin just casually cashing in another winning season with Mason Rudolph and
what he does.
Kenny Pickett and Mitch Trubisky as his quarterbacks. Just
three of the same guy. How do you have three of the same guy?
Insane. Just insane. And how do you win 9 games when you have it? I just don't know. The Steelers playoff scenario is, I guess it's a little more clear and upfront. Steelers win plus Buffalo loss clinches them a playoff spot. Steelers win plus a Jacksonville loss or tie wins them a playoff spot.
By the way, Trevor Lawrence, questionable. They don't know if he's going to play on Sunday.
He needs, I would just look in here. He needs more zip on the ball, basically, is what Coach Peterson needs from him to throw a little harder. He's got a finger injury.
These guys, man, you go first overall and you don't build around them correctly. Joe Burrow, how many years in the league? Couple years in the league. The one year he's been healthy, he goes to the Super Bowl, but he can't finish the season. He's running for his life all the time. Shout out Jake Browning, doing a pretty good job for the Bengals. And now the Jaguars.
But the Bengals brought in Orlando Brown, which was huge this year. I don't know. Burrow's kind of.
You think it's on Burrow?
I don't know. I mean, he's been hurt quite a bit, right?
I agree. No, I agree.
Could be an early season. Just I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't.
Got to finish the season.
Yeah,
I mean, this season kind of felt. I guess you can't call it unfair, but like Joe came into the season hurt. Remember?
That's
like
also true. And nobody checked the Bengals for letting that happen.
Yeah, they didn't. They just let him play. I mean, they made us believe that he was going to be ready week 1, and it was like, I just saw this dude take a non-contact calf injury and limp off like a week and a half ago, and what ended up happening?
He pushed himself too.
Yeah,
I remember at the beginning of the year, they're like 1 and 2 is one thing, but we can't be 1 and 3, so they forced him to play week 4.
Mm-hmm.
I think they win, and then they ended up going like 2 and 5, and then beat the Niners.
Here you go on the Sack Chat. CK916 Styles, that Ayuk Pro Bowl nonsense almost had me call in and go on a rant. Oof. Shout out to the CK916 and Scooter916. What do you think Fields would have looked like on the Niners? I wanted them to draft him, and then they drafted Lance.
Better than Lance.
Scooter.
He would have looked better.
He would have been
just now moving forward from that. I'm just now moving forward from that.
You got to move on from that.
Yeah,
Alex. Come on, you got to get over it. Come on,
I did
Alex.
move on.
Okay.
I did, but I don't think that the question is this. And I went back and forth in the Bay all the time. I don't know. It would be disrespectful, I think, to Brock to say that Fields would look as good as Brock. I think that would be disrespectful. But I do think that the Niners would be successful with Fields. Yeah. As successful as they are right now, different. I don't.
Fields was sabotaged too in with the Bears. Like, he has not been given anything to work with, running for his life constantly.
Yeah.
They're not. It took him forever to get him DJ Moore.
Yeah,
and that's what you're. It's just
they just run a screen pass to him.
He did have Allen Robinson.
Okay, that's it though. I mean, no O-line, right? No defense. He's sport. Yeah, it's they're bad.
Yeah. If we're doing revisionist history though.
Yeah.
If the Niners win that game against the Bears, is anything different?
That monsoon game?
Yeah. Is anything different?
That I wasn't even thinking about that. So no.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say no.
I don't think so either.
I mean, if Trey Lance still gets hurt,
they're still running him.
That's all that matters.
They're still running him.
Yeah.
So maybe he gets hurt later in the season, but then maybe that means Jimmy doesn't. I don't know. We'll never know.
I don't want to play this game. But
I didn't.
But I
Chris
do
started
want
it.
to tell you. No. Do you guys want to hear some of these incentives before we go to break?
Yes.
So this is an article from CBS a few hours ago from Cody Benjamin. That first one I mentioned, Baker Mayfield, if he gets in the playoffs this year, he gets an extra $2 million.
Oh, that's crazy.
So yeah,
I would be. Oh my God, go ahead. Go ahead.
A couple more QBs here. You got Geno Smith. If he gets a playoff berth, $2 million as well.
Wow.
Gardner Minshew, if he gets 65% of the offensive snaps, he gets $2 million. So I think he has a chance to get that in week 18. Then we go to your guy, Alexander Madison, Chris. He needs 125 rushing yards.
He's not getting it
for $650K.
He's not getting it.
Odell,
I haven't seen Alexander Madison in months.
They're going to feed this one's tough. Odell, he gets $1.75 million if he gets 5 catches, 185 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
No,
it's too big. Too big of a day.
And they're not even.
He needs all of that.
Yeah.
Aren't the Ravens in the same situation? Aren't they playing for nothing?
Yeah. I haven't checked who's playing what, but I imagine, I don't know. If Odell's like, put me in there, just huck the ball up to me. Let's see what happens. I can see that. This one, I think, is going to happen. DeAndre Hopkins, $1.5 million if he gets 7 catches, 49 yards, and 2 TDs. That I'm going to say is
all
lot.
of it.
The 7 catches is harder than the 49 yards.
Throw him screens. They don't
2
care.
touchdowns.
Well, that too.
Also, Nate, they don't want to give him the money. I don't think they're gonna.
Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna call the screens.
Okay.
I think that Tennessee's probably gonna be like,
They're up. They're the ones playing the Jags. Don't know if Trevor Lawrence is gonna play.
I'll do a couple more here.
Yeah.
Darius Slayton for the Giants, $750K. I guess he just needs to play, so that's good.
Okay, that's an easy one.
Yeah. Nelson Aguilar, another Ravens receiver, $500,000, 10 catches, he gets the $250,000.
Right.
58 yards, he gets the other $250,000. So I think he's getting a $250,000.
Yeah, you really got to try out for that one. I mean,
You
Huntley
said 10 catches.
10 catches for a $250,000, and then another $250,000 for 58 yards. So he gets the $500,000 for both, but if he gets either one, he gets $250K.
Oh well, he'll get the yard.
The 58 yards.
I mean, that's not a guarantee.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing.
Well, if
Are they
Odell's
gonna
not
be throwing to
he's
Zay?
he's going to be the number one.
They don't have to play. They don't have to. They're not playing for anything. And the way the Ravens season has gone, I wouldn't send anybody out there.
No, I mean, I would wrap everybody up. I mean, for the most part. I mean, not that Nelson Aguilar's, I mean, I guess.
Well, no, he can play.
Yeah.
No disrespect, but Zay Flowers and you know.
Yeah, I see a lot of Tyler Huntley, Pro Bowler Tyler Huntley.
I'll do Bud Dupree, a guy who bounces around a lot in the league.
Is he in Tennessee now?
He's with the Falcons.
Wow.
He needs a sack and a half for $1 million. And then 70% of 2023 snaps for $1 million. I don't know how many snaps that is.
Are there any Niner ones in there?
No Niner ones in there. It was that. I mean, the only there's that Debo one we talked about the other day,
right?
But that's not obtained. That's over several years.
Yeah. Right.
So
The
that
rushing one.
not a big deal, but these are just kind of the ones that stick out. This is a great article. A bunch in here. Mike Gesicki for the Patriots. He needs 53% of snaps this year to get $750,000 million. So just I don't know. Those are interesting.
There you go. Hey, I hope they all get their money.
Yeah.
Because
Get paid.
football is that sport where you just never know.
Never know when the next check is going to
Exactly. All right, got to get to a break. When we get back, it's our dog segment. Maybe a double dog segment since they play on Sunday as well. Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sactown Sports and the Sactown Sports app.
Yep, that trailer hitch and folding bed cover from Truck Smart makes road trips a breeze.
Right? I'm so much more organized on the job site since Truck Smart installed my truck rack and toolbox.
And they had it all in stock, so I just waited as they installed everything.
Take a look at this sweet Rhino truck lining. They sprayed it on.
Yeah, you win. That is sweet.
Truck Smart, truck and SUV accessories for on the road and the job site. Stop by one of our 2 locations in Rockland or Auburn. Trucksmart.com. Your truck's gonna love them.
The world has changed a lot these last few years. You can do pretty much anything from your home, including order your new Honda from Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Check out our great selection at StocktonHonda.com or come in today and get pre-approved all in the blink of an eye. Stockton Honda makes buying a car simple and stress-free.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Have you Googled yourself lately? Are there negative posts from an ex-employee or from a former client? Maybe an outdated news article or sensitive personal information about your family? Search engines don't always get it right. For right or wrong, it's your reputation on the line. That's where Reputation Defender by Norton comes in. One of the most trusted names in online reputation repair, Reputation Defender has been fixing people's search results for over 15 years. Their cutting-edge approaches help you to wipe away unwanted information in your search results. They also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, helping you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. Take control with Reputation Defender. You can start by getting your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 to speak to an expert. That's 800-401-6681.
And local. Live and local. This is Sactown Sports.
Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports, 15 more minutes with you. Thank you for joining. If you just joined, thank you for joining. If you've been listening, thank you for rocking with us. And rock with us on KNCI HD2 this Sunday. The 49ers and Rams will be airing there with pregame at 12:25 and kickoff at 1:25, because the Kings, I'm going to continue to say it, will be playing and beating the Pelicans on the Sactown Sports airwaves. It is time now for our dog segment, sponsored by Could Be You. Give us a call, 916-339-1140, if you want to sponsor our dog segment. We can make it happen.
Yeah. We need to get the in Step Brothers when they're doing the Prestige Worldwide, and they're like, potential investors, possibly you.
Right. Let's get that. Let's get it going, and let's get the dog going. I'll start it off today.
Yeah.
I see Nate in the back doing his job, working real hard. So I'll start it out today.
End of the show, and now he's deciding to work.
Oh, buddy. After he dropped some Tapatio earlier in the show that we will not repeat. You can check it out on YouTube, but
thanks, Steven.
We will not repeat the proposed
I forgot
trade
the Tapatio I was dropping.
That
Sriracha.
That was that, the one drop. It's so hot you put the one drop or the one chip or whatever. That's what it was. with Nate. All right, I'm going to get started here.
666.
6 views. And with reports coming out, who is available? Kevin Huerter, Harrison Barnes.
Yeah.
I think that Harrison Barnes is a company man through and through. And I think Harrison Barnes is going to play well tonight. Harrison Barnes, my dog.
I would love that. Oh my gosh. What if that actually happens? What if he does have like a 25-point night and then like 2 weeks later he does get traded to Toronto and we're like, wow, this fool actually just in real time convinced somebody that he's worth. I will not say what he's worth, but he's worth more than what.
Build a statue.
Incredible.
We build the statue.
Oh, yeah.
He just sends a kiss out to the crowd
Swan song.
as the trade happens, and we all just stand up
so good
and just give a standing ovation for Harrison Barnes. He's my dog tonight.
That's great. That is fantastic. Great work. Let me think here. I mean, you know what? I think you actually planted this seed in my head earlier. I'm going to go with Keegan Murray because, I mentioned, the Siakam and Sabonis kind of canceling each other out. It's going to be interesting to watch Scotty Barnes versus De'Aaron, Emmanuel Quickley against Malik Monk. That sounds like Keegan Murray could be a little bit of an X factor there. If Keegan himself has a 20-point night, hits a couple threes, how's Toronto going to be able to respond to that? I mean, I think that it's going to be big for the Kings offense to be going tonight in general, but let's see some Keegan Murray continuing to build on that development, continuing to build on that great inside the arc game from the other day. Let's see a little bit of everything out of Keegan tonight.
Nate, who's your dog tonight? You gonna go random again? Or?
Yeah. No, I went with Trey Lyles last time. That's not random.
That's not
JTA
no,
tonight.
And he 10-3. And tonight I want to take Chris Duarte. JTA with his 19 seconds.
Hey,
Duarte after 10 minutes, 0 points, 1 assist. I was like, and then Huerter really struggling at the 2 guard outside of Malik. But I mean, he's kind of a 1.5 guard. He's both. So I'm just gonna go easy, go Sabonis, and get a little bit more specific.
Okay.
Double by half, and he's gonna be 2 assists away from a triple-double at half.
So he had 2 triple-doubles in a row, right? At least 2.
Close. Let me see.
And wasn't that the 7th time in his career?
The streak.
Let's see here.
Yeah, this will end the streak.
that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think 8 assists by the half. I'll say 10 points, 12 rebounds.
He's got triple doubles in 2 of his last 3 games.
Okay.
Yeah, he had 23, 19, and 4 against the Hornets.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
all right,
Still
let's go back
nuts.
around the room for the Pelicans. Oh, my goodness.
Goodness gracious.
For the Pelicans.
Ouch.
It's just going to be all of us for making it through.
Well, look,
tonight.
I'm the one who believes that the Kings are going to get it done.
Right.
And it's at home.
And it's at home.
Mm-hmm. So was the last one.
And you got to get rolling somehow. Honestly, I'm just going to go basic Betty here, and I'm going to go De'Aaron Fox.
Oh, I thought you were going to go Kevin Huerter.
No.
I thought that's your basic Betty.
No, I'm going De'Aaron Fox. It's time.
Okay, I like it. You know what? Maybe I'm starting to, be more on your side of the street this time. I mean, there's nothing at least there's nothing at stake this time. Last time the in-season tournament continuing on that was at stake. So maybe this one will be just absolutely no pressure at all. I mean, you've already lost to this team 3 times. So I guess what's a 4th? So, you can play a little bit looser and let's say Kevin Huerter. Why
Let's
not?
go.
Let's have a big bench night from Kevin Huerter. Going to need some triples if you're going to be playing that Pelicans team. We've seen that length really bothers the Kings in terms of attacking the rim. So, yeah, I mean, you're going to need some perimeter help. My 2 dogs for the weekend are going to be Keegan and Kevin.
Let's do it.
I'm doing it.
Let's do it.
I don't feel great about it.
Here on the Sack Chat from Dwayne Baker, Keegan tonight's dog. Fox on Sunday. Me and Dwayne feeling the same way. 916 KH, my big red dog. Shout out to the 96 KH, the big red dog.
Clifford.
Shout out Clifford. Shout out 916.
Oh,
nice. Text of the day.
I hope Kevin plays well for a long time so we can call him the big red dog.
That's actually great, 916. You think of that yourself? Take a victory lap on that one, Nate.
good.
Before we get
people
out of
definitely
here,
aren't calling him that, so that's for sure.
yo, the big red dog. If he goes crazy tonight, and you get that one, I'm gonna say that should have been Nate. Nate, who you got?
I'm gonna will this into existence. JaVale McGee's got to have one good game. He's got to have one
stay
good
away.
game.
Have to?
Yeah.
He has to?
Revenge
couldn't
game,
stay
right?
away.
He played on the Pelicans.
No, I don't think he
He's
did.
just played on half the league.
No, that's not.
Mixing him and AD up.
Yeah.
That's it. I think that
Very similar
a lot of people
players.
agree, right?
Very
Both NBA
similar
champs.
players. All right. Well, thank you, Nate. And
do we have to thank Nate?
Yeah. Thank you, Nate, for all that. All right. Thank you, Nate, for all that you do. Thank you to Sean Woodley for coming through from the Locked On Raptors. Excited for the game tonight. Chris Watkins, Alan Stiles, hang around, of course, for the Drive guys with Whitey Gleason and Kyle Draper. Have a great weekend. And until Monday, secure the bag. Please, Kings, light the beam.
Has Monty put together a roster that can help make a deep playoff run this season?
Just trying to give coach options, give him guys that can help us win in a variety of areas. Obviously, our top guys are going to play every game, but there's going to be other times, whether it's injuries, matchups. We've got